Okay. With that being said, let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing I guess we can talk about, Mark, there he is. He's got his studio. I'm loving it. And I love the new setup, by the way, man. I love your new setup that you have. Absolutely love it. Absolutely love the new setup. Just want to do a little.
Can you hear me?
Yep, yeah. I can hear you.
Okay.
Yep, I was saying I love your setup, man. Love it.
Oh, thanks.
Hell yeah.
You can't do TikTok from desktop. I gotta do it from my phone.
I've never thought of that.
Yeah, it seems like they prompt everything.
I've done it on desktop.
You have? Okay. That's why I was like, I never thought of that.
How can I join from desktop? Because it keeps saying when you sent me the invite, it says the message type isn't supported. Download TikTok app to view this message.
What?
Yeah, prompts.
I'd go the old school way and just click on CargoCast Podcast and then just join their live straight from their page.
So when I do that, hold on a second.
Oh, he's gonna try it from his desktop. That's what he's doing.
I'd be curious to see.
I mean, that's honestly when I did it last month. I was on desktop.
You were on desktop? Okay, so he should be able to do it then.
Yeah.
There you go. And I'll wait for him to come up before I start. Let me invite him. Let me invite him up here. Yeah, because I definitely. So one of the first topics I do want to start with is basically because I feel like it was already starting in the comment section. So I was like, oh, yep, that's going to be the first one. And UTL pretty much kickstarted it. You know what I mean? And I know you have a problem with energy drinks. You know, kickstart.
No. No, I'm just saying, like y'all.
Gray was like, I don't know what that is.
No, when you're on that road, you got to do whatever you got to do to stay awake and alert. So my hat is off to all of you. I was just saying. Take care of your liver too.
Hey, but what is some advice to give us? So let's just say we decide to do a liver detox. What is something to offset that with to give us energy, would you say? I'm being serious when I'm asking that.
Oh my gosh. I'm the wrong person to rattle that off the top of my head. My sister is the herbalist. She's the one that always give me pointers, but definitely doing green juice, do raw green juice. Eating green, go raw for a week or two, greens. I mean, you'd be surprised how much we've been brainwashed to believe that we need to have meat in our diet, and you don't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you literally, you'll see you'll be more energized.
But
changing out at least a week. Just do a week. Just fast for a week. No meat, no greasiness. Just veggies, water, green, and you'll see a major difference when it comes to your energy level and your clarity. How you won't be so foggy.
Sure.
But I'll definitely DM you some supplements that you can invest in. But yeah, at least once a week, once a month. Once a month, do a detox. Get all those, because it's airborne, it's in your food, it's in your clothes, So but that's my little 2 cents on that.
And I can contest to that, honestly. I fasted one time. I did it once. It was just like random. I was like, I'm gonna fast. And I found loopholes. I was like ChatGPTing how to do it. Like the bone broth, stuff like that. Sip it like a little bit every here and there. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I definitely fucks with it. The fasting. Seriously.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Just on the side note. Yeah. But so what I was saying, Mark, by the way, I just want to make sure, were you able to do it from your desktop or still no?
Nah, I'm just got to hold the phone.
Damn.
I don't know how to, bro. I barely know how to do this. So I'll just thug it out right now.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I don't know, Mike, if you wanted to. Mark said he wasn't able to do it. I don't know. Come on, don't do that.
Did you download the TikTok Studio on your laptop?
Yeah, I got it right here. How do you use it though?
We probably have to offline that later on. I want to be respectful of the time we got tonight.
Well, I was gonna say maybe later on, yeah, like get up with maybe DM you more, like either Mike or UTL can like DM you, like just step by step. So next time you like, come up, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. But with that being said, the first thing I want to jump into, and I think UTL, you really, it was in the comment section, is compliance. And honestly, I'll let you go ahead and start with that. And you can have the floor, and then we can just all piggyback on that. So it's all you.
Hate me, don't spam me, because some of the stuff I'm going to say is going to hit home. But first of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Tamaris, and I'm the CEO and founder of UTL Dispatching. We provide dispatching services, but we are more focusing on assisting the reentry community, the veterans, and the age out of foster care demographic, and teaching them how to transition into transportation, whether it's dispatching, obtaining their CDL, so on and so forth. So with that being said, my focal point is making sure that we get away from this mindset of hearsay business. Okay. And what I mean by that is, oh, my homeboy got a box truck and he making $36,000 a month, but your homeboy's not saying that it took him 8 to 9 months to figure out how to get to that $36,000 a month. Right. So there's a lot of misinformation that's out here, and people are so driven by the financial piece that we're seeing the small business owners being eaten alive right now in this industry. And this is the time that we need to really focus on building our platform and rebuilding our business and our brands, because the money is here. There's almost 200,000 businesses, large and small. Fleets are being closed and shut down by DOT. So the supply is still there. So there's a major, major demand. So that means we need to position ourselves so we can eat. And I heard a gentleman said the other day, he said, while the rates are up, which they're getting ready to start climbing pretty soon, that you work hard. This is no days off. You work hard, you grind, and stack, because when they drop, they're going to drop, So with that being said, I encourage anyone and everyone that's on here is to take a moment and do a audit on your business. And what I mean by that is making sure is your corporation registered and set up correctly with your state. Right? That's the first thing. Okay. People don't think about that being a big thing, but it really is, because brokers are doing this on the back end. Right? The pressure is on their head to be more compliant. So they're doing a lot more screening on the back end that they're not telling you about, and they're just ghosting you. You're wondering why you're not getting any loads, you're not getting any callbacks, you're not getting any response in the emails. This is why, because they're researching, because the heat is on their neck, right, to stay compliant, that their records are in order. So you want to make sure your business is set up correctly. And when I say business, I'm not saying a DBA. They're not taking you serious if you're running a business with a DBA. Some may disagree with that, but if you're not taking your business serious enough to invest in making it an actual corporation, then why would they take a chance on giving you an actual contract? Okay. So that's the first thing. Make sure you are investing in your business to make sure it's set up. You personally, not going paying someone else. And then when somebody asks you, you can't answer simple questions like, are you a LLC, a S Corp, or a C Corp? And I want everybody to know everything that I'm talking about is from previous clients' responses, that it just blows my mind how you've gotten to this level of financial classification and your business is not even legit. Like, you've let your business expire. Your corporation docs have expired. Just because you have an EIN does not, those are two separate entities. EIN is for the IRS and your LLC registration is for your state. So understand, you're going to have IRS that you have to pay tax to and your state. And if you live in California, you have to have a statement of information. So you might be paying IRS, you might be paying the state of California, and you might be paying the city taxes. All of those things are important, right? And you guys jump in and cut me off if you need to, because I'll just start rattling. Like, I mean, it's so much when it comes to compliance that people don't take in consideration, or they pay somebody to do it and they assume that it's been done and it's not, and then you come to me and I'm going through your documents and saying, oh, you're probably going to have to pay back taxes because you're not registered, or you weren't registered, or they registered it incorrectly and now you have to re-register, right? So my point that I'm trying to get to, and I'll take a breather, let somebody else jump in, is make sure that you understand the whole back office, the administrative piece of your business. That meaning your corporation docs in place, that you have your operational docs in place, you have your that you have your bank account set up, meaning that you're not paying for your day-to-day expenses, you as a person, from the business account, and that you're not using your business account paying for your day-to-day expenses. They should be separate entities. And if you're taking money from your business to pay you, then you need to have an actual contract. You know what I'm saying? For example, if you took $200 out your business account, right? And let's say that was because when you were starting your business, you bought the LLC from your personal account. Then you want to write yourself an actual invoice, $200 repayment for corporation docs. This is information that we don't talk about, right? This is not what people are sharing about how you keep yourself compliant. And compliance is just not your DOT or your authority. It's the administrative piece, because DOT is not playing right now. They are shutting people down for, you can't speak English correctly. They pulling you over and leaving you on the side of the highway, even though you guys are cargo vans. But trust and believe, they're looking at all, because you got cargo vans are now, you're doing LTL, right? So I wouldn't be surprised if they're going to start saying, hey, if you're capable of carrying X, Y, and Z in supplies or a load, then you should be governed by the same requirements as any other equipment that's doing that size load, because you're still on the road. I can't tell you how many box truck owners I've seen is tow up some of these highways, or overpass, or have destroyed wires because they don't have the skill set to understand, to gauge the height between their truck and the overpass, right? So that's DOT. Like, you're still on the roads with these semis. So why wouldn't you be governed? Why wouldn't you be governed under the same governing entity, which is fmcsa and DOT, right? Depending on what size your vehicles are, right? Someone said not LTL. I don't know what that statement meant. Anyhow, it sounds like it's all over the place, but trust me when I say that there are so many of my clients that come to me, or I have to refer them to my guy who helps them with their CSA scores. That it's just the small little things that you feel like you could come back and do later that get you caught up and get you shut down. And you guys have worked too hard. You invested too much money. You invested too much time to be caught up because you don't want to pay someone to do an audit $200, or you feel like that was too much. Is that $200 versus $2,000 or being shut down completely? I think that's a good handoff if you want to be honest. So,
anybody else want to add to that? Anybody here? Panel?
That's like...
Hey, I'll add to that.
Go ahead, Greg.
Go ahead. Yeah, I'll add to that. So I agree with you 100%. And a lot of times we get wrapped up, hey, are we LTL? Are we expediters? The bottom line is we are governed by the government. Just because we're under 10,000 pounds, we don't have that strict requirement. But I can see in the next few years, as they start shutting down companies and these foreigners that have these illicit CDLs, they're going to start coming to our side of the house. right? They're going to go to the box trucks. The box trucks where they don't need a CDL, they're going to go to what we're doing in the cargo vans. I mean, some of us have seen it. Let's be 100% honest. We have seen people at the airport that don't speak English and they're driving cargo vans. So that I can see them being more strict on us. Now, what I do is during my maintenance week, I take one maintenance week a month. I have a binder. I go through all of my documents. I have my vehicle registration, my insurance card, I keep my contracts, my business license and that. I go through that all the time. And what helps me when I do it on maintenance week, sometimes I'll renew my insurance, right? And I forget to put the new insurance card in there. So it's like, oh crap, let me go ahead and get this done now. Because I've been riding 3 weeks with my old card. So I'll put the new one in there and I'll put my binder right back in my vehicle. It doesn't take that long, and she's 100% correct. We have invested thousands of dollars into this. And if you think $200 is too much to have a second set of eyes look at it, I'm sorry. You're in the wrong business. That $200 is a business expense. You're not giving it away. You're just saying, hey, I just need a second look to make sure that I am doing what is needed to be done to stay on the road.
It's like, I look at it as like an investment, to be honest, Grey Wolf. Like when you look at something like that, when another company offers services that are going to go above and beyond to like oversee, like maybe just even hiring like a different CPA to look over my taxes, and then some companies like on a larger scale, they'll do that. They'll be like, hey, I have a CPA. They do tax purposes on A, B, C, and D, but you know what? This year, I want to make sure I audit my own CPA, right? You give that direct work to somebody else, pay them like $300 or $400. They can just go ahead and audit that person or that company and see if they're actually performing. If they're not performing, why are you still wasting money on that certain CPA and so forth? But I mean, back to UTL's just talking about in regards to like compliance and stuff. I do agree that in the next there's no time scale. It could be anything from 2 years, 3 years to 5 years. I feel like from my personal, view on the industry so far and the growth of it, it'll definitely flip to all those, like you were saying, Grey Wolf, all those people will go from CDLs to non-CDLs, and now will flood the market in that regard. And at certain point, FMCSA will probably step in and regulate it to some degree, even if we're not like regulated heavily on the FMCSA side, for like, certain aspects of it, but they're still going to start regulating, probably create a division for non-CDL companies, basically, and it'll outline everything from box trucks to a hot shot non-CDL to a sprinter van non-CDL and anything else. You know what I mean? Even if it's like a bigger van that was converted or whatever, it'll just be like a non-commercial vehicle, and here's the new regulations upon that vehicle.
Anybody else want to add to that? Mission, Mark?
Yeah.
CJ?
I would love to. So those of you that know me know I spend a lot of my time talking about safety and compliance, so I can definitely sign off. And instead of telling you, like, let me quantify it and give you a reason to actually give a shit. Let's say you own a box truck and now you put a driver in it, and that's awesome, and you're about to go buy your next one. Your driver violates their hours of service, but they only get caught because they got pulled into a roadside inspection. Could cost the driver $5,000, and it could cost the company, the company owner, up to $15,000. So compliance isn't just like, oh, I got to do this just because Uncle Sam says. Like, there's some pretty serious career and company ending level tickets out here. And I agree with everybody. I'd be willing to bet you that the regulation that would come down would be, they'd add in like the 5,001 to 10,000 pound category, and then just say if you're doing anything for profit at all, you're basically open to it. And cargo vans would have to display their numbers much more prominently like box trucks.
Okay. Anybody else want to add anything in here? BC, SJ, Mark?
Yeah, I'd like to add something real quick. Not
Sure,
to be
go ahead.
a parrot, but I'm here in California, specifically the San Diego area. And when I do local deliveries, I have been stopped by California Highway Patrol just off the rip. And I have a cargo van myself, as you can see in my profile, and they'll open it up to make sure that my freight is strapped properly. They'll take a quick look at the tires and take a look at my paperwork. Like the gentleman said, I forgot who said it. I always carry in a binder, my business license, my insurance card, everything that I need. Yeah, Gray Wolf. I'm sorry. I apologize. But I carry everything that I need, to make sure I'm compliant. Like everybody said, we all work too hard and have invested a lot of money to get shut down. And you know the saying, once California starts something, the other 49 states follow. So I'm surprised they haven't done anything as of today. Really, I'm really shocked.
Gotcha. Good take. Okay. BC, have any thoughts? Mark, have any thoughts on compliance? You get up there. You said you're good? Okay. Got you. Okay. Mission, I know I'll actually bring this up next. It has to do with factoring companies, and I know you mentioned earlier, and I'll let you start out with factoring companies, so we can piggyback on that as well. So you have the floor on that, man.
All right. So do we talk about what factoring is and why it matters and why somebody should actually mention
the entire scope of it,
go
man.
In that way?
We can do the entire scope if you want.
Oh my God. All right. Why don't we cover over it really, really quickly? And then I'll just give two options, because anytime I offer any kind of mentorship, I try to give like the super mega corporation version and then like the small business owner, like our version of it. Factoring, think of factoring like you need your money and you need it right now. I know everybody's seen that commercial, but seriously, that's what it's about. And if you're somebody who doesn't want to or is incapable of waiting for 30 days up to 60 days and then kind of chasing people down to get your money, that's the reason that we factor. Is I value my time and I don't want to fart with it. That's something to consider. Or if you've got nothing but time and you're down to chase people and that's kind of your shtick, do that. So the two companies I would recommend, one is RTS, because they are the largest, oldest factoring company in the country. They've been around since 1989. One reason to go with them is, let's say you get a bill from a smaller company and you get the same bill from a bigger company, and you know that bigger company has a little bit more buy-in power and can maybe mess you up a little more. I thought strategically that'd be the one to go with. However, on the other side of that coin, if you go with a small business owner, someone who really cares and can't afford to lose your business, that person's going to go to work for you and probably be a little bit better and more lenient on rates and taking care of you, especially if you've got credit. So RTS is the big company. Integra Funding Solutions is the smaller company. And I know for him, for a fact, he'll actually work like different contracts month to month, different things. So I'll leave the floor with that. I know that there's a big argument. You know what? You ready? I'll start a fight. There's no such thing as non-recourse.
Anybody want to counter that? Anyone here?
No, there's no point. I mean, that's like a given. Why bother? I mean,
why bother? He put his belly up over here. Look at this.
Yeah, he knows what's up.
The white flag. Yeah.
Hey, I listed some examples for you guys there. If you guys are, I mean, there's OTR Solutions, RTS Financial, Apex Capital Corp. There's TAPS, Triumph Financial, another one. Truck Stop does it. DAT does it. I mean, there's other ones too. You just have to do your due diligence to vet these people out. Aside from your percentages, there are going to be contracts in there. I mean, if you're locked in, or if you're going to be terminating, you can't just be like, hey, I'm just going to jump ship. I'll go find another one. No, you probably signed a contract upon, looking into a factoring company. So you might want to check to see, because you might be like 90 days out before you can cancel, 3 months at least, before you can cancel that contract and go work with another factoring company. So do your due diligence, do your homework. I mean, don't just like jump ship, go to the next one.
Anybody want to add to that when it comes to the importance of factoring companies? Gray, UTL, SJ, Mark, BC. You have any further thoughts on that?
I do. I appreciate him mentioning the due diligence factor that ties right back into the compliance piece. When it comes to factoring, you should be researching whomever you're bringing into your business as a partner. And the factoring company essentially is your financial business partner. So you should be doing your due diligence to see what people are saying about this agency, making sure that they're not in deep water as far as getting ready to close down, because some of these factoring companies have shut down and people don't know about it. And, then the broker or the shipper comes after you directly because they didn't get paid, right? That's what people need to understand about that factoring. That factoring is not solidified until monies have been exchanged. It's just a piece of paper. It's a contract, right? But if that factoring company loses money or they lose their license because they were doing something they didn't have no business doing, then you're still on the line for that money, right? You can't just go on blowing in the wind and have a nice day. They still could come after you, and that it has happened, so make sure that you're doing your due diligence and researching whomever you're choosing to bring on as a business partner, whether that is an accountant, whether it's a dispatcher, a broker, whomever. Make sure you research it and making sure that they're legit.
I agree. I feel like that was good, though. I feel like really compliance, in fact, it just goes hand in hand. Honestly, I feel like that was a good start. Just to bring those two in, I think you guys definitely agree. Because this is just important for somebody to stay compliant, and to make sure. And a factoring company, just overall, is just to make sure something is legit. I feel like that's like the simplest way. What I've learned from it. But yeah. Any other thoughts before we move on as far as factoring goes? Gray, SJ, BC, Mark, anything to add to that? Oh. Nothing? Okay. Okay, so this is gonna kind of be like a free what do they say on COD? Free for all. All right. So, sorry, that took a little bit to come into mind. Okay, so here is what I'm going to throw out there. So, what are some other things that are not mentioned enough in logistics that needs to be spoken on way more often that nobody speaks on enough? And whoever wants to start and we can piggyback from that, you can go right ahead.
Understanding how to read your contract. When you're signing up with brokers, this is a big thing that I was talking about the other day on my platform. I mentioned about reading what the broker is their clause are when they tell you that you're waiving your right to ask for detention pay. Detention pay, for those that may not know, I'm not 100% sure if it's applicable to cargo vans, but it should be. Detention pay is basically saying that you're going to be compensated for any additional time past 2 hours. So if you pull up to a facility, your time was at 9 o'clock, you got there at 8:45, you checked in, you're done, you're sitting there, you're waiting to get loaded, and then they tell you that they're not ready. So you're sitting there for 4 hours and, then they load you, and then the broker's on your head about getting to the next, to the receiver in a certain time frame, right? You should be compensated for that additional 2 hours that you sat there of your time, right?
Mm-hmm.
I know that's more applicable to, the semis and, the bigger equipment, but still, you want to read your broker contract. Don't just sign it. Read through it. And if you don't understand it, take a copy of it, upload it in ChatGPT, and ask ChatGPT to explain what is going on in this contract. Because a lot of these brokers are sliding, clause into their contracts that's screwing you as the owner operators. So make sure that you are reviewing what you're assigning your name to, right? And research these brokers. Google their name, look in the FMCSA to see if they're still active. Because it's a lot of fraud going on right now. People are picking up loads for somebody, dropping it off, and you get there and it's supposed to be somebody else, or somebody else got paid for it. It's more and more common, and I think it's just because there's so many new people that are jumping out here and they're hungry because they know in 29 days they got that overhead, they got to be compensated for. That they're not really paying attention to very obvious signs that this broker is not legit. So don't be hungry. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you're operating as a business. That means that you have to protect yourself. And if something feel funny, something feel weird, the broker is too aggressive, or on your head every 5 minutes, it's something that's a red flag, that something's wrong. And you need to make sure before you unload that you get everything in order, right? Make sure you getting your money, getting your coins before you unload, because once you unload, you screwed, So that's my 2 cents on that.
Anybody else want to add to that?
Yeah, I want to add to that.
Okay.
That's a really good topic to really talk about in regards to that. I mean, just familiarizing yourself. Like, if you don't know how to read a basic contract that you're about to sign, and it's going to be between your corporation and this brokerage, then that's like a automatic, like, pause it, put the brakes on right now, and go ahead and do your homework. Like, figure that out before you even start just signing things away. I mean, I don't care if it's like 300 miles, because look at it this way. I've seen contracts from brokers come up and it'd be like simple as, well, with our customer, we require you to have full PPE and so forth. And the moment that you show up with, like, let's say like 2 of those, 4 things, they're going to say in there, like, oh, you weren't fully equipped with the full PPE. So therefore that's a full cancellation on that load. So if your load was for 350 and the full cancellation fee or termination fee automatically applies at 350, what freight are you moving? Like, they already slapped you with the full rate con, like, already as a penalty off the bat. So, like, just being aware of those, and even that, like, everything that you sign in the end is going to be, pretty much held in court anyways. So, like, when they come to it and it comes to litigation, they're going to be like, nope, see, it was outlined in this contract and you signed that contract. It's between party A and party B and so forth. So, like, yeah, it's like you have to dedicate the time to read through these things. I know, like, just because you get the load or just because it's on the board, just because you see it, let's, sign off on it, let's move on. Like, no, because in the end, it's going to cost you more. And then there's certain customers that, work with those brokers directly are not really good customers too. In regards to, like, I'm just going to say off the bat, like, like for semi-trucks, you have like lumper fees, excess time. Even like the way you operate your company, let's just say it's for a TONU, like if you're going to get a truck order not used, let's say your company average is about $150, like that's flat, or $200. I'm just throwing numbers out there. Like, I got to have that for my company. There's no if or buts about it. Okay, well, then you need to go negotiate that with the broker and put that adjustment in the form. Like, there's a video circulating. It's on TikTok and stuff, where I got to post the actual dispatching company, because I love this guy. He does a really good job with his company. And they do a lot of, like, the flatbeds and some hot shots and stuff like that. But he puts out information where there's a video with him actually, like, conversating about set broker, right? And he's like, hey, I don't mind this, but you got to take this clause off of your rate confirmation. Otherwise, I can't commit to this lane for tomorrow. And he was not having it. He was like, no way, shape, or form did they want to change it, subject to whatever. But in the end, like, literally, if you even write down or stamp something on that rate con or just put in the notes, that's what the binding contract is going to be between. So if it's like non-negotiable truck order, my truck order is $200 flat, truck order not used, then that's what it's going to be, $200 flat. If the broker doesn't want to agree on it, then the broker doesn't have to sign on it. You guys move on. At the end of the day, you're done. And that's just like one small aspect of, compliance, and in regards to, like, things that, I guess nobody in the industry talks about is the being educated in that rate confirmation, the first step.
Anybody else on the panel want to add to that? No? Okay. Gray Wolf, SJ.
Before we move on, can I add a one last part to that?
Absolutely. Go ahead.
Another trick what some of these brokers are doing, they'll negotiate your tonneau, lumber, or your detention pay in their contract, and they'll withhold it. So they'll put it in their contract that you can't request it, right? And you sign that contract with the broker, but the broker already negotiated that to be in the contract. So that's another thing why you have to make sure that you do your due diligence, and before you pick up that load and go anywhere, right? You want to make sure that you have clarified with them in black and white, not on the phone, in black and white, whether it's a text message or an email. You want to make sure for sure that it's clarified, because I've had to go to battle for my driver when they were trying to say that we didn't negotiate that. We did. And like I said, that number that the broker negotiates with that customer oftentimes includes that fee, and they just hold it. They don't give it to the driver.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's very valid. Anybody want to add to that? Third party.
So for this specific topic, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Go ahead, CJ. SJ, yeah.
Are we talking just about contracts, or are we just talking about the overall business that people don't talk about?
Just the overall, like, that was just, she touched base on one that, like a lot of people don't really just take the time, in regards to like looking at the rate cons and the contract that you're signing. But yeah, if you got another one, Express, let me know.
Okay. I'm sorry. It's my first time on here. So to piggyback off of, it was a couple of podcasts ago that you guys did. Mark and or BCM had talked about it. Is basically knowing your business and having the confidence and sticking to your rates. Like when people talk to me here down in San Diego about how I do my business, I never discuss my rate because everybody's rate is different. You might have, payments on your truck. You might have it halfway paid off or paid off at all. I tend to run into people that get frustrated when they don't get the amount of money that they need, and they just run away from the business. You have to stick to your guns and know your worth. That's my key, is to know your worth and stick to your guns. All money ain't good money is what I tell some people when they ask me about the business. I tend to find people that they think you just get in your van or your car, whatever you do, you just turn the ignition and you go. But people don't see the work that we put in afterwards. Like we're on the computer, we're constantly getting phone calls, we're negotiating, deals, especially if you have personal clientele, especially in this economy when you have to make that phone call or that email about, raising your rates as far as gas, so forth and so on. We tend to make it look easy from people, who are content creators such as yourselves. And they just think, okay, we just get in the car and go and make that money. It's not that easy. We talked about, compliance and, making sure your business is in order from A to Z. It's hard work. So at the end, stick to your guns, know your worth, and keep your feelings out of it. It's just business. It's a business at the end of the day.
Some good points. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. 100% agree. I would say the emotional part, I feel like the end is a lot of people get emotional in business. I myself had learned that early on. It took me time. And I'll give you props down there, Mark. I would say, and I give you a lot of praise, man. I give you a lot of praise. I'm saying watching your videos is I've learned from you is you gotta be resilient. You gotta be tough. To have tough skin out here. You can't get caught up, in reactions from other people. Can't allow that to come back on you. You really have to stand your ground, but in a very respectful, professional way at the same time. Like balance is key, I would say. But I think that's another thing we can definitely discuss that a lot of owner operators seem to not get over time, is that they have trouble, like, I guess, not reacting and that can actually jeopardize their business. Do you guys want to add to that?
What do you mean not reacting?
Well,
Yeah,
like emotionally reacting, like I would say. Like,
yeah. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm
go
sorry,
ahead.
Cargo. Yeah, it's to the point, and to piggyback off what you said, I've watched a lot of Mark's videos. I'm not a perfect person. I've made mistakes, but my mistakes is not to make those mistakes over and over again. You know, I've I fell to the realm of taking what a broker might give me, knowing that I'm not going to make a profit. But I had to get the confidence and know that, hey, this is not enough. I need to stick to my guns and not overreact. I have to be kind. I have to say, hey, look, such and such. I appreciate the offer. I appreciate you giving business to me, but I can't do it for this amount. I need to do it for this amount. This is what I'm worth. Because at the end of the day, you need to exhibit that confidence and say, hey, this is what I can do. I'm setting myself aside from, every other company or cargo van that you use. And this is what, sets my company above anybody else. So I just feel as though you have to be strong. And even though you just have to bite your tongue and be very forthright and just honest about how you feel and how you want to operate your business at the end of the day.
Right. Yeah, and I think UTL pretty much, because I know you heard Mark, you want more like elaboration on it. She was saying like basically like emotional intelligence. That to pretty much like sum up or not, I guess to like go deeper into I guess what I mean, and yeah. But I would say emotional intelligence is a pretty good way of putting it. But yeah, anybody else want to add to that?
I'll jump in and clarify what I mean by that. Emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
I think the biggest one in my mentorship and my training, I make sure that I am educating individuals and teaching them how to transition from the 9-to-5 mindset into actual entrepreneurship. So what I mean by that is the 9-to-5 mindset, you can actually have a I don't give a F mentality and just, handle things you would with a regular person. But when it's your business, you have to understand that you're representing your business, right? It is your brand. So, and that's from visually, that's from your social media presence, that's from, how you carry yourself on the phone. How do you want people to look at you? And you understanding your worth that you're bringing to the industry is not that, oh, thank you so very much, sir, for allowing me to come and work for you. No, you need me. So that's how we're going to talk like business people. This is what I need to move your load. And this is my bottom line. And you always want to make sure if I can back a little bit, you need to know what your cost per mile is. And I think someone referenced that earlier. Your cost per mile is what is it you absolutely have to make every time you move your vehicle.
The guy right below you.
You have to know,
SJ below you. He had mentioned it.
Oh, okay, SJ. Yeah. So that is very, very important. I think a lot of people in this industry do not understand that. That's how they can be taken advantage of with brokers because they don't know what their cost per mile is. You don't know how much money, you just got a number in your head and it sounds good. $2,500 a week might be good for SJ, but for, Mark, he might need 35, even though you might have the same equipment, but maybe Mark's equipment is not paid off yet. You know what I'm saying? So you have to know what you have to absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, need to make. And that's the mindset that you have when you get on that phone and you speak to them. You speak with them with a surety that I am bringing you quality service. I am putting forth the effort. I know that I'm going to drop your load off. It's going to be safe. It's going to be on time. I am bringing you something that you need. It's not, like I'm working a 9-to-5. Like I literally can go to the next person. And when you have that, you'll see how many more clients you'll close when you have that perception about yourself, right? But emotional intelligence, it just have on the forefront, not in the back, but in the forefront that I know what I'm worth. So why am I going to belittle myself in any shape, way, or form to argue with you about something that I know that I'm capable of doing. So you don't, when you have that, then you can control the narrative of that conversation. If someone is beginning to talk to you out the side of their neck, you know that that's not going to be a good partnership, because they don't have worth, they don't have their self-worth in place, and they don't believe in their business. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I mean when I said emotional intelligence. You know your worth, and you come to the table with authority, and you don't let anyone, treat you less than, and you can walk away with it knowing that you can call someone else, because you can. You're not on somebody's job where you need their benefits. You are the job, right?
That's right.
I think another thing that we need to realize is that this is not personal, it's business, like you guys were saying earlier. However, the biggest thing that we need to understand is their job is to keep as much money in their pockets as possible. Our job is to extract as much money from their pockets. So don't take it personal when they start to say, well, this is all we can pay. It's just like you guys were saying. It's like, okay, if that's all you can pay, I'm sorry, I cannot move this freight for you. All right. I refuse to remove this freight and operate at a loss. There's nothing wrong with letting that load go by. Just go ahead and snatch another one, but just be not kissing their behind, but don't lose your character and your dignity. I like to take like 1 second to think about what I'm going to say to them. And, and a lot of times, I'm an old Army guy. All right, BC, Brian, you know how we talk in the military, right?
That's right. You better know.
So I got to take that second, because, I'll threaten your family real quick and without thinking twice about it. But I can't do that in this realm. So, it'll go, well, I'm sorry, I cannot move for that amount. So if you can't meet this, I think it's best for both of us that we just move on. And a lot of times you will get that load from that guy. You will get that money.
Hey, let me pause on that real quick. I like how Gray Wolf's mentioning that. Also, keep in mind this though, that when you're negotiating, with anybody else, I'm keeping it professionally here in this industry, obviously logistics, right? Try to give the ball to your I guess opponent in this case, or because they're not your teammate, but so toss the ball in their court basically, and just tell them hey, you leave it basically open to them and leave it on an open statement, right? So you want to be more fluid in that, right? So less resilient and being very abrasive in how you communicate to that broker, but be you standing on your business, right? Because you know what the standard is in your company, and you know the rate that you have to be at, like Gray Wolf said. Right. So, but at the same time, be hey, if you guys change your mind, we are flexible. We are ready. My driver's ready to go within the next hour and a half. That gives that broker not all day to sit here and waste time, because every single one of you guys, your time is valuable, I'm sure, whether you're dispatching or whether you're doing it directly as an owner operator. Every single moment, every single hour is actually valuable, because you're going to go you have to look for other opportunities, other great things that are supposed to be coming your way, not just wasting time on one broker. But I'm just saying, be less abrasive in that, give them the opportunity, leave the ball in their court. And it's up to them if they want to pick up the ball and play ball. It really is. You know what I mean? But just don't squander that and be hey, I understand we want to conduct further business, but if anything changes, here's my number, here's my direct line. Feel free to reach out anytime.
Yeah, that's a good point. Definitely a good point. Anybody want to add to that? No.
Yeah, I'll jump in really quick and also mention that take the opportunity to educate them. I've taken time, because a lot of these brokers, they feel like they have to pretend like they know everything. And just like all of us at one point in time, we're new to the industry and still learning, they may not know. They might just be going off of what they see on the board and put that rate out there, so that's where your salesman skills step in and educate them about why you're asking for that dollar amount. It could be, hey, the market rate is $2.50, however, you called me at the last minute, my driver happens to be in the area. So, This is why we're asking for $275 because, whatever the case may be. So don't look at it as an opportunity to, or rather look at it as an opportunity to educate them as to why you're asking for what you're asking for. And giving them the opportunity. As you're giving them the opportunity, like he said, put the ball in their court, but give them something to marinate on. This is what I'm bringing to the table. We have a TWIC card. We're certified in this. We have that. We're right here. We can get to you within the next 30 minutes. We're in the area. So that's where you're pricing it because you're giving them a different quality of service.
Mm.
What do you guys think the percentage, if you can say the percentage of people that's in the box truck business and the cargo van business know their cost per mile?
That's a good one.
10.
That's a good one.
What did you say?
10%.
Oh, okay.
That's a good one.
I would say,
really want to fight?
I would say half of the people don't know, and out of the 50% left, 40% of that guess, right?
Yeah.
And I would honestly say maybe 5% of us know our true cost per mile. Because I did a video saying, hey, you need to update that. Gas prices has changed. Insurance rates have changed. So you need to update your cost per mile. Again, during my maintenance week, that's one of the things that I do. I update my cost per mile based off of not where I live, but, my tax person said do it off of the national average, unless you live in an area where it's higher than the national average. So like where I buy gas, it's $3.79. I'm going to Wisconsin where it's $4.29. So if I do it at $3.79, I'm losing money. So I do mine based off of a national average.
Makes sense.
Majority of these guys don't know it. A lot of them have never done it. So
They choosing to stay ignorant, bro.
For what it's
like last
worth, I
month.
got a free calculator on my page. Y'all can have it. I mean, there's no gatekeeping, no nothing to it.
I think people need to just come to the understanding that as time goes on, people are going to operate less efficient. I don't even look at this box truck thing. Since I've been in this content thing for the past 4 years, the conversations get worse and worse and worse.
Yeah.
So, and I don't know if you guys watch my content, but all I do is talk to people. I don't charge. I just talk for hours.
Correct, yeah.
So the conversation, I've talked to thousands of people, and 100% of the people that have called in to the show in the past 4 years, 100% of the people do not know what it costs them to operate. It's to the point now that they know the road I'm going to go down, so they act like they know it. Like a guy called up the other day. He said, "Yeah, Mark, I know, but my cost per mile is $250." I know his cost per mile ain't $250. $250? So, okay, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. $250, I'm assuming he got a 2026 Mack truck. I'm assuming he got a high truck. No, he got high insurance. Neither. You just guessed.
Did even sit down.
My favorite content creator said I got to take, what do you say, $2 a mile, the whole $2 a mile spiel. Come to find out, after a conversation with me, I found out he didn't know his cost per mile, and he was operating at a loss.
Yeah.
That's it. And
So
what's happening?
at the end of the day, majority of these guys don't know what it costs them to run.
No, they don't.
Majority of them. So that's why I say the line is drawn in the sand. On this side, or the intelligent people who do everything the correct way, or the other people. I say to the people who doing things the right way, don't even waste time with the people who don't.
Yep.
Just take advantage of them.
Yeah.
There's no way I'm getting to taking advantage. Ain't no way nobody gonna take advantage of me over the phone. If you let a broker take advantage of you over the phone, you deserve to get taken advantage of.
That's a good thing to piggyback from. I like that.
So, like, I'm not. That's on you.
Yep.
I get about decisions. We either gonna get money together, or I'm gonna get money off of you.
Yeah.
Right.
A lot of people would disagree with that too, which is crazy.
You said what happened?
No, I was saying a lot of people would disagree with that, but like, of course, I know where you're coming from when you say that.
Disagree with what aspect of it, though?
Like the take advantage
It's
part.
business, though.
No. I'm saying I agree with what he's saying, but people that don't understand business would disagree with him. Is what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's one customer. We all can't have it. We all competing for one
'Cause I
customer.
hear a lot
I'd
of
rather
people.
Balloons asked what's the
I'd
form.
rather it be me. So
Mark, the mentor, Balloons asked what is the form?
Yeah,
what's the formula for what?
I don't.
Cost per mile.
Just,
I'm assuming.
Yeah, I'm assuming cost
per mile. Right.
You said what?
There's a lot of forms. You talking about cost per mile, cost over miles driven.
I think general
I don't
cost
know
per
what
mile.
general cost per mile, but I mean, everything. Everybody's cost per mile is going to differ based off of
the formula is universal.
That's right.
The formula is universal. Cost over miles driven. You could do total cost over miles driven. You could do fixed cost over miles driven plus variable cost over miles driven, and then add the two together. Or you could just do total cost over miles driven.
Right, because that's what I generally do. Right now the empty miles or deadhead miles is costing us more now, so than ever. And so you have to be mindful of that when you are out here. And I like if I'm taking most of my trips right here in my area, I'm local, and so I'm going to areas that I'm not going to get anything back from there. So I'm looking for $2 or more a mile anyway. You know what I mean? And back before the fuel had gone up, $1.50 was my minimum or more, and now it's $2 minimum or more. For me, to operate. So I get a lot of no's, but my van will sit in my driveway and look pretty before I just go out and run for anything.
Yeah.
Yep. Facts.
Mission, how did you word it last month? It was I'm not out here to play dress up. I liked how you worded that.
Are you talking to me or Mark?
No, Mission. He had worded that last month when we had touched up on that. He was saying I'm not going to be out here just to play dress up. I'm actually out here to run it as a business. You know what he's doing.
Right.
Yeah.
I just like how you worded that.
Thanks, man. On that note, I actually have to dip out, guys. But thank you very much for having me. We'll see y'all.
Absolutely,
All right,
man.
Mission. Thanks for joining.
Hey, I just want to touch base on Brave's question. So she asks, what's something widely accepted in the industry that you think is actually wrong? And I mean, I might start off with saying a few, out there for you guys, but maybe just think about it and how it, it fits directly. So number one, I was thinking of one where it'd be brokers are necessary for survival. That's number one. Number two, running for more miles, making more equals making more money. Three, you have to take cheap loads to stay moving. Four, shippers only care about price. Five, you need a large fleet to get direct contracts. Six, the market controls everything. And that's just just think about if you want to touch base on any of those subjects or any of those that I've outlined for that specific subject.
When you say the market controls everything, I like to expound on that.
Go ahead. I know Marky over here loves that one. He was fired up.
What do you mean by the market controls everything as far as what and what aspect?
Well, that's specifically pertaining to that question, right? So what's widely accepted in the industry that's, that people think is wrong or that you think is wrong. So if we elaborate on that one with the markets, right? What do we hear all the time? Rates are just bad right now, right? Yeah, I mean, the market matters, but it's not everything, right? There's always carriers within one set region, right? So one carrier can make anything from 90 cents a mile with that region, while another carrier, same thing, same region, is making $2+ a mile. So does that mean it's a bad market? So the difference could be in that same market. The difference could be the relationships that each of those has, right, or the lack of those relationships. The positioning, whether they're running one fleet, two fleet, just where you are within your own business structure. The negotiations, obviously, whether that's contractual or negotiations on your contract directly, or you may even have a niche focus that you're capitalizing on. Whereas other people in that region don't even have that access.
I'll jump in right here. I think it boils down to what we've all been talking about is people are jumping into this industry feet first or head first. They don't know what it really takes. They don't have the ability to effectively communicate or sell their business. They don't have the ability to be humble enough to let someone teach them. Mark is on there doing an amazing job answering all types of questions. And, all of us on here are doing our best to bring awareness to the industry and what it takes to be successful. And yet individuals will still put the buggy before the horse and go buy the equipment, get the insurance, and then now they want to jump out there and figure out how to get the loads. So that's the basic fundamental, or the basic foundation rather, to the types of questions that are being asked in the chat about what is, I think it's just a lack of understanding that this is you're an independent carrier. You're an independent person. You own your own business. You are responsible for your success. You can't think that a broker or a dispatcher is going to come along and give you $6,000-$7,000 a week and you don't even know what you're doing. It's much more than just picking up a load and dropping it off. You have to understand what the market looks like. Is seasonal, is regional, and you have to have certain skill sets in order to run any business, let alone a business in an industry that's up and down consistently. It's not just one way. This week, everybody eating. Next 2 weeks, everybody starving. So it's not a such thing as the market is just horrible. Is what are you doing to position yourself then when we do experience the dip, because it comes, what have you done to make sure that you'll still be able to be afloat? I think that's the real answer, or the real question that needs to be answered by those that are asking those questions. Like, so what are you doing again personally?
Go ahead. Sorry. Yep.
So with the inconsistencies with the fuel prices now, what do you all believe is $2 per mile logical? For each and every owner operator to sustain under?
It all depends on the individual.
I was just going to say, Mark, I agree. It just depends on the individual. Yeah.
He's been here. I saw him. He just took a load at 85 cents profitable in the cargo van.
Okay. Just depending. I understand that. You know what I mean? But
on your cost. So in this industry, it's competitive. Right? So, you got people who can it's just like Walmart. When Walmart came to town, all the family general merchandise stores went out of business. Why? Because they got the resources to get the same thing that you could get at your general merchandise store cheaper. Why? Because they're ordering millions of units. So their unit cost is going to be cheaper. So they can sell it to the consumer cheaper, which ultimately puts you out of business. Right? So if there's an owner operator who can operate way less than you for whatever reason, they have older equipment, they're 50, 60 years old, so their insurance is cheaper, and they got older equipment, they got relationships, so on and so forth. Their cost is way lower than yours, right? They can take loads cheaper than yours, right? Yep. Cheaper than you. So it just is what it is. So you got to do what you got to do to always be able to compete. No matter what the market sentiment is, or no matter what, going on in the economy, economic downturns or whatever, you got to make sure that you're able to compete in any and every market. So everybody's cost is going to be different. Like D. Jenkins is in here. He was literally in my Discord earlier talking about Sioux Falls right now. He just took a load for 85 cents. Profitable in the cargo van. Now, some people may frown. Some people may
went to Sioux Falls, Idaho.
Sioux Falls coming out. Well, some people may frown upon that, but he's profitable. So while one person is saying not take less than for two, he's taking for 85 cents, 90 cents, $1 profit, right? So,
and just all depending on where he was going to make that 85 cent a profitable margin for him.
All based on what his operational cost is. If his operational cost is 50 cents and he's flying at 80 cents, making 30 cents a mile profit, and he's cool. You might not want to take that same load for $1.50, $2. He's saying, fuck it, give it to me at 80, I'm gone.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I mean, but
Yeah,
there's
it's just go ahead, Resilient.
but there's like strategy to that too. You know what I mean? Like, let's say his operational costs, I'm just, hypothetically throwing out there. Let's say his operational costs are like 60 cents or something, right? So he took it for 85, whatever. Yeah, he's good. It's above his operational threshold. But like at the same time, it's not like, it's not like that person, let's say they took that out of like Idaho or something, going down to, or going over to,
Michigan or
shoot. Well,
something.
yeah. Let's just say Michigan, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, okay, so it's half, right? So like, let's say he gets to Michigan and let's say he knows a broker there, or let's say he's already got contacts. Let's say his next load that he's going to get is going to be $1, I don't know, 35 or even $2 a mile. You know what I mean? You guys are not seeing that, like how it's like offsetting where he
That's how
lost
you got
out,
to do.
even though
That's
he was
right.
already like above his, operational costs. So it's like it comes down to like how you strategize, how you position. That's why I said the difference in, if you're talking about the market in general, like the difference is you got to, it's within your relationships, it's your positioning, your negotiation, and maybe your niche focus that you have. You went from one bad zone, or out of Florida, but then you came into like your hot zone, and you're like, I already know, like these people are going to call me. I already know 3 of these customers that I work with directly throughout the week, they're going to call me.
Like in other words,
Because
you
I'm
can
positioning
offset that.
myself.
Yeah. Yep. I see where you're going with that.
Yeah, I have actually done that coming out of Charlotte. Charlotte market's basically dead. So I will take a slightly lower rate to go to Indianapolis. So I don't like to move for under $1 a mile, but hey, you throw 95 cents at me, 95 cents. I'll go ahead and move that to Indianapolis because I know once I get over there, I'm going to get that $1.05, $1.10. If I like where I'm going right now in Wisconsin, I know when I get out of there on a Saturday, I'm going to get $1.20 a mile because there ain't going to be nobody on the road, or it ain't going to be nobody willing to go to where I'm willing to go. So it's all, and I agree that the market has some say, but like you said earlier, you got your different niche. It's timing, right? Because you can say, hey, I want this per mile. And you look around at Love's, it's like 5 cargo vans at yours. Across the street, there's a quick trip. There's 5 cargo vans over there. It's
Everybody
like, it's
bidding.
going to be a rough day.
Yeah.
So, you may have to lower your expectation. I'm not saying do it for free, but I'm saying you may have to lower your expectations. Says, hey, I want to get $1 a mile. This might be a 90 cents a mile day, or maybe an 85 cents a mile day.
Yeah, I mean, to each his own. I don't have a van payment, and I still ain't taking less than $2 a mile.
Yeah.
I mean, in my, I mean, that's just
your cost.
That's just me personally,
Yeah.
And I'm gonna stand firm, and I just think that that's what's wrong with our industry. Period. I mean, we get out there over the road and we become vulnerable, and we start taking rates that that is affecting us, but we're not looking at it like it's affecting us because we looking at it, okay, we moving and that's a profit for us right then. But say you get to an area and you sit for a couple of days, hey, that 85 cent, that's blown. That 90 cent or that dollar or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So I mean, we got to get out of that mindset too. At the end of the day, we are owner operators.
But if you said you won't take nothing for less than $2 a mile and your van sitting in the driveway, the same
Hey,
thing.
I can do that. I mean, I can do that, Mark, because I mean, I'm gonna get a check. My bills are gonna be paid. My van payment, I don't have one, so I can make that sacrifice. But I'm gonna stand firm because I'm looking at it as if I'm dealing directly with a broker. Whether I'm dealing with a carrier company or whomever. But I've been in them rims getting that $1.50 a mile also, you know what I mean? But times have changed and we have to make some changes.
I think the biggest thing is like Brian was like, I'm with you on the $2 a mile thing. When I'm local, just by listening to you, because I used to say, hey, I'm not leaving my house for less than $125 local. So now I'm up to $150. If I'm doing something local, I don't give a daggone if it's 50 miles. I need $150 for me to start my van up, right? But then as you start to stretch your legs, that $2 a mile is not going to happen over a 500-mile trip. It's not going to happen in the cargo van.
Yeah, I'm saying, like, because what's the likelihood of everybody sitting on their hands in a cargo van waiting for $2 a mile? Box trucks.
I see it as a sub agent, Mark. You know what I mean? So it can be done.
I said, but what's the likelihood?
No, the likelihood. I understand. I get more no's than yeses, but at the end of the day, I'm thankful that I can take the no's. And I understand the industry, but that's what's happening, because the likelihood of the majority, that's what's happening. They're taking these loads for pennies. But
the industry is competitive, and I don't think it's necessarily pennies, but the industry is competitive, and it has always been a small profit margin industry.
Well, I haven't had up until these last couple of years, the profit margin has changed.
That's because you comparing now to a black swan event of a pandemic, where the market could carry, and I'm not saying you, but during that time period, the market carried the ignorance. The market carried the ignorance. You could be a fool in 2020, 2021 and make money. Now you got to know what you're doing.
Definitely. You got to strategically plan a lot differently than you did then, because it was a given back then. You know what I mean? Where the money was out here, the lows were coming, and it wasn't as many people in the industry like you're saying. So yeah, that's a good point as well. But me, I just stay local, regional right here, and it's not going to always be somebody right here in Raleigh to pick up to take something to Elizabeth City. Just like I got a load the other day for $2.33 a mile, but it covered me on my deadhead back as well as going. It cost me $100 fuel on 150 miles.
It just boils down to cost for a specific owner operator at the end of the day, is how I see it. Just from listening to everybody, it really just boils down to your CPM, and after you figure out your CPM, that's when you figure out, your minimum RPM, which is, this is the minimum I'm willing to take something for, and that's going to differ based on our, owner operators and everything in a lot of ways.
Bro, I just think I don't know. I think it's like all semantics, man. It's pointless arguing about it, looking at your neighbor's lawn and being like, nah, like his ain't greener, mine's greener. Like, yo, we can do this all day long.
That's what I'm saying.
Know what I mean? Like, somebody creating a market regionally. Like, I'm just saying, like, let's say I did one in like a market in Atlanta versus a market in Charlotte. Two different things. You know what I mean? And so somebody like that's a courier, like running their lanes, they're happy with their cost per mile versus somebody else. Like, let's say, like we're PCM is saying, like, I don't run nothing but $2 a mile or whatever. Can you imagine, like, if somebody in the audience like adapted to that framework and was like, sweet, I'm not gonna do anything right now besides like request $2 a mile, and then they're not moving for like the whole week. Maybe they're lucky they got a load, and then they're just wondering like, nah, I don't know, that dude's crazy. No, that dude that just said that, right? He probably has his own broker that he works with directly, or he has his own customer. Like, I have customers I run $3-4 a mile, no problem. That makes up for the difference the whole week. I can run one lane and make like, $1,200 easy in a day. And then how many lanes you got to run? How many days you got to run to make that difference? So it's a matter of how you want to like set your business up, how you want to operate it. At the end of the day, if you're happy with it, that's on you, But I mean, you're going to have people that look your way, you look at your direction, look at your lawn and be like, yo, I don't know about that dude. He's doing it wrong. Or they're doing it completely wrong.
Keeping up with the Joneses. That's the classic saying. Keeping up with the Joneses. Yep. Yeah.
It's kind of like if I always say comparison is a thief of joy, right? So like, Brian, hey, I love where you're at. Brother, you got a gold mine. You're probably the only expediter over in Raleigh. Because I tell you, when I go to Raleigh, hey, I get a lot of the airport pickups and everything, but I don't get to Raleigh often. So yeah, I can actually see where you're standing firm on that $2 a mile. Because once you go in North Carolina, east of Raleigh, yeah, man, it ain't nothing out there but green. There ain't nothing out there but a whole bunch of fields and stuff like that. So, I'm not trying to argue about you getting your $2 a mile, if it's right or wrong or whatever. I say, hey, get what you can and make sure you can eat off of it. That's it. Just make sure that you can eat off of it. I'm privileged enough that, hey, my van can sit for an entire month. I'm retired military. So my van can sit for an entire month and I can eat. Wow. So that is the advantage Brian and I have.
That's right.
Right? Yeah. So I understand that a lot of people can't do that. We got guys in this business, like you guys are saying. Someone had just said it in 2021, you didn't have to be business smart. You weren't going to make money. Nowadays, we got to be business smart. I researched this business for 2 years before I jumped in, and I was still asking questions, So, because, and I did make a lot of mistakes along the way and all that stuff. And I'd say, hey, I'm going to post videos just so that people don't make the same mistakes I made,
Amen.
And the problem is, in this business, it's too easy to get into, right? All you need is a little bit of money and you're in the business. They don't understand discipline. They don't understand being patient. They don't understand standing up for what is right and also representing yourself in a good light.
Let's talk about that next there, Gray. I like that one.
Yeah. Well, I can go right into that.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Let's go.
How many times we've been to the airport pickup, you look in the back of somebody's van, it looked like a tornado done went through it. They got clothes all over the place, they're strapped all over the place. Some of these vans in their front window, they got types of fast food stuff in there. Props up to Brian. He posts all the time, deep cleaning again.
I seen that post, man. He's deep cleaning it. Yeah.
Making me mad because I see him deep cleaning and I got to go deep clean mine. Right? You're like, hey, he's right. Got a deep clean.
Hey, DM him afterwards. He'll charge you. He'll quote you on a deep clean your van.
That was the first thing I did before transitioning over from the car hauling.
Oh, that's right.
I was detailing first. I was probably one of the best companies right here in the Triangle. August Precision is what I was a partnership.
There you go.
Yeah,
it's little things to represent yourself in a good light that goes a long way, and it's basic stuff that you should have learned as a child. I mean, we've been to places, it's like you're trying to punch in that keyboard, you're like, who the hell smells like that? It's like, Jesus Christ, somebody needs a shower real bad. But and also when you're talking to people, we've all shown up to places, the clerk behind the desk is frustrated because they just got cussed out because some carrier didn't have the proper paperwork.
Oh, yeah.
So now they're mad at the clerk, and now the clerk is having a bad day. So what I'll do is tell the clerk, hey, you need to take 5 minutes? Go ahead and take 5 minutes.
I'm the same way. That's crazy you said that.
Go for a little walk. Hey, I'm not here for this, and you're not here for that. You got to take a break. Take a break. It's fine. Right.
And can I piggyback on that, Gray?
Yes.
I've been to a lot of drop-offs or pickups where there's maybe one or two people in front of me, and they are absolutely, and this all goes back to what UTL brought up, is that emotional intelligence, right? Being aware of the situation, being actually aware. And they take it out on the person behind the counter. They take it on the forklift driver. They take it out on whoever. And I kind of reassure the person in front of me, like, whether it's subtle or direct, like, just whatever, just let them know, like, hey, like, if something is wrong with what I'm picking up, it is what it is. Like, as far as what I'm saying is, like, if there's something on my pickup that's wrong, I'm just gonna be like, all right, let me call my dispatcher. Let's just get straightened out. Let's go. I'm not gonna get mad. Like, what do you mean? I'm not gonna get like upset. Like, I just critically think, problem solve it. So I understand what you mean. Like, you're always going to see those people that are just getting complete shit behind the counter or whatever, whether it's pickup or drop off. And I think I've said this, I've overused this example, but Delta Atlanta is probably a prime example of that. I have been down there God knows how many times, and there's people freaking out. I've been here for 3 or 4 hours. What's going on? Like, I'm just sitting back. I'm like, and then it also goes back to what UTL said. Know what you're getting yourself into before you accept the damn load. You know, don't get upset and then you're going to cuss everybody out because of a decision you made. You know, it's accountability. You know, make it make sense.
And that was what I was talking about, the difference between a business owner and a person that owns a business.
Yep.
A business owner already does a risk assessment. Every business should understand that there's just a part of the beast that you are going to experience. You're going to deal with the ups and downs. You're going to deal with the bad attitude. I tell my mentees all the time, if you got soft skin, dispatching and trucking as a whole is not for you.
For you. Yeah.
You gotta understand you're gonna get cussed out. You're gonna get, blamed for something that they did wrong because they don't understand the nature of the beast. And a lot, like I said earlier, a lot of people are starting this business based off of what they saw on TikTok or what their homeboy doing. But they're not understanding the behind the scenes is what you really need to invest in, which is getting a mentor, getting someone that can show you what to miss. Again, I keep, throwing Mark out there, but I mean, he's out there on the front line, like telling you, like, call me, ask me for free what not to do before you jump into this space. No. It's the same information, whether it's box truck, sprinter van, semi truck, it's the same thing. You should not jump into something and not understand the compliance. You would be surprised how many of people have reached out to me and I asked them, well, are you on the FMCSA newsletter? They're like, what is that? What do you mean?
Yeah.
What do you mean? What is that?
That's the same people that wouldn't know what a FMCSA company snapshot is. They're like, what is that? Some photo booth or something? Oh,
right.
Man. No.
Exactly. Exactly. Like, that is something that no matter what facet of transportation you're in, you should be on their newsletters to know what's happening in the industry. There's so many. Duffy is in there just running rapid. Like, he's just shutting everything down. Everybody, your hair is blue. Okay, we're pulling you over. Your English isn't clear. We're pulling you over. Your truck had the wrong color on it. We're pulling you over. Like, I'm being facetious, but I mean, that's just how drastic it's becoming that, people have just been misusing the industry and doing what they want for so long. He got to go in there and act a fool. So,
yeah. See, for me, the majority of my loads running to the east part of North Carolina, so I have to deadhead back up out of there. So I have to make sure that I'm covered on the front end as well as the back end, and that's where I'm at. When I'm on my back end with my total miles, that's where I'm going to be at $1 a mile. You know what I mean? Coming back. But other than that, I have to raise my price and keep it up to that minimum so I can be covered, because the deadhead miles are costing us like no other right now. If you're having to deadhead a lot, and a lot of times where we're going to take these loads, it's putting us in areas to where we're going to have to deadhead anywhere from 50 to 100 miles to put ourselves back in position.
Mm.
Correct. I had actually just did a video on that one today about no planning, right? So you can't sit there and say, oh, I'm going to take this load. I'm going to make a $700 profit going to Midland, Texas. And now you're in Midland, Texas talking about, well, the broker sent me here and I don't have another load. No. You agreed to that. You didn't properly plan. So go ahead, drive that 4 hours back to Dallas and try to get a load then. Right. We got to take, like UTL said, that internal risk assessment. Sometimes you're going to have to turn down that load. I got offered a load. Hey, they were paying good money. I was like, yeah, but I'm not driving 1,000 miles straight to get it there. It's like, oh, I got confidence that you can do it. I said, well, you got too much confidence in me, brother. You need to get a team for that, because that is not safe. That's not safe for one person to do, that 16-hour drive alone. I mean, you got construction, crazy drivers, rush hour traffic, and you want me to agree to a time that I'm going to get there. I'm sorry, I cannot make that happen. And there's nothing wrong with being upfront and honest with it.
Are there Brave asks, are there other business factors that play a part in your cost per mile, Mark?
He asked me that.
Yes, I
Outside
mean,
what fixing the variable cost?
well, the question is just, are there other business factors that play a part in our cost per mile?
That's what it costs you to operate per mile. Some people, you know what, believe it or not, some people add their rent and stuff in there. And I disagree with it.
Right.
That's crazy. The rent.
Yeah, I saw that one. Yeah.
But whatever it's costing you per mile, that's it, and that's all.
It's just your vehicle. Yeah.
Just what it's costing you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But I mean, it's a little bit more than the vehicle, like your food, things like that.
Hotel. Okay, I see. Yeah, that's true.
Okay, that was a question from FF. Okay, from FF. That was, but you answered it, Mark. Yeah.
Okay, now, hey, check it out for food, right? You guys can pay yourself a per diem for food, right? This year is $80 a day.
Yeah, I heard that they bumped it up to that 80. Yep.
And that's part of.
What about?
Go ahead, Brian.
About the companies that are bumping up some fuel per diem? I know that Airspace sent out a big thing about, it wasn't much, but it was a fuel incentive, and just to hear medical companies doing it, I'm sure that carriers will start getting on board soon.
I don't know, man. I also want to say, like, incentive is incentive, brother. Like, so if one broker gives you an incentive or one company gives you an incentive, does it make it a good incentive? Like, does it make you agree to that and be like, oh, okay, that's fair? Or does it make you actually question it and be like, I don't, like I said, the opportunity for this truck is right here, right now. And you have that opportunity, like that opportunity is at this and this rate. And I'd love to work with you. But this is where we have to be at.
It is, bro. Yeah. Because that incentive that they shot out was real cheap. It was 0.5, I think 5 cents a mile extra.
They wanted to pay $6 driving 2 hours. I don't know.
Yeah.
I was trying to get General Freight to come up here because he said he disagrees with housing cost. So I'm wanting him to come up here and really.
He was saying he agrees with me as far as
okay.
Not adding your housing costs into your cost.
I thought he disagreed. When I saw disagree, I was like, oh wow, I would love to hear his opinion. But I see what you're saying now. I got you.
So FF is in need of figuring out his cost per mile. That's what he's in need of, and I guess he's going to have to reach out to someone on this panel that making.
I will gladly help you, CD.
Yeah, there's some great candidates on here that can help you in that regard.
Oh, absolutely.
Break it down.
Yeah.
The biggest thing about cost per mile is you have to be 100% honest with yourself. You can't sit there and lie on your cost per mile in order to lower it, right? Because what's going to end up happening is at the end of the year, you're going to look and say, wow, I didn't make anything because you lied to yourself. So then you took lower rates and you were barely scraping by. You just got to be, I'd rather go a little inflated and make a profit than say, okay, well, if I do this, if I do that, and the other thing, my cost per mile goes lower. Knowing daggone well, I'm not going to do those things. I can go and schedule an appointment to get my oil changed for $80. Hey, I'm on the road. I'll go pay the $140 to keep moving. So I budget $140. If I get it done for $80, hey, sweet. But if I'm on the road and that oil light comes on, hey, I'm getting it done right then and there. So you got to be brutally honest and kind of hurt your own feelings with it. It's like, wow, I did not know that it cost me that much to operate. Because again, we compare our stuff to other people. It's like what you guys are saying. Some people may be at 50 cents. Some people may be at 60 cents. I'm an old guy. I got cheap insurance. I'm at 43 cents a mile, right? So I can't expect a 20-some-odd-year-old to be at 43 cents a mile. It's not going to happen. Just because their insurance is going to be much more than what I pay insurance. I only pay $5,000 a year in my insurance. That's it. But if I lived in Chicago, I might have to pay $10,000 even at my age, because the likelihood of my van getting damaged in Chicago is a lot greater than me living just outside of Charlotte, North Carolina.
Do you agree with that, Mark, since you're out of Chicago?
This catalytic converter is going to get stolen all the time.
Oh, shit.
He putting in that with his costs. Yep.
That's it.
I'm trying to invite Air I can't even pronounce that logistics.
Yeah,
this person, marketing and software is obviously in your cost, but housing as an office, I mean, if you're in a cargo van, you don't have an office. So why would you add that to your cost?
I'm trying to get them up here.
But I'm saying, why would you add housing as a cost, as your cost?
Yeah.
When you don't have an, if you're in a van, you're a single owner operator in a van, why would you add housing as an office cost? Why?
Oh, here he is.
You don't have an office.
He's coming
All right
now.
All right, we're hearing you out, man.
Hi, guys. Can you hear me?
We sure can.
Hey, yes. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing well. Coming back from a trip right now. To explain that, the home office thing, that's just standard in any business. If you take phone calls, answer emails from your home, that is your home office, and you can write off a portion of that, whatever square footage you have. So
you can write it off for your taxes, but why would you add that to your cost per mile?
Well, if you're paying rent, I mean, it might be like 1 cent per mile, but it's still, that's where you work. And if you're paying rent or you have a mortgage, you've got electricity bills, phone bills, any of that. It all goes into it. It's no different than if you had a brick or mortar and you were doing the same thing.
Why don't you just write that off on your taxes? But, I mean, you're included in your cost per mile. It's not costing you. Like, how many vans do you have?
We have one van.
So I'm pretty sure you're always in the van, right?
We're just a little outfit, just two. Yeah, no, we're not always in the van. We do most of our work from our home office.
From your home office? From what, like a laptop or something?
Yeah.
So if you're not always in the van, you guys got like some other stuff going on, or is the van like your primary form of income, or?
Oh, she's choppy.
She must be still in the van, huh?
She must be in the van, right?
Thing and
You're
very
back. There you go.
differently than the standard cargo van industry.
You broke up for like a good 30 seconds.
We operate very differently than the standard cargo van industry. I'm in Western Colorado, which is very in and out for service, so sorry about that. To answer your question about where we operate, we're mostly at home because we operate differently than the rest of the cargo van industry in that we don't run just the load from point A to point B, pick up another and go bouncing around like you guys do.
So if you're mostly at home,
we do local, regional, long distance trips where we put together sorry, I might be breaking up again. Can you guys hear me?
No, we hear you now. Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah, we can hear you clear.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, so we build our trips up. We have to build trips because what we run is, it's a variety of different sizes of cargo, but it's mostly one industry, and we wouldn't be able to run if based on where we at and where we operate, we wouldn't be able to run like you guys. So we build a little differently. We spend a good week or two building up these big trips, and then we go 3, 4, 5, 7,000 miles with a van full of cargo all over the country. So we spend our time networking and doing lots of emails and self-dispatching and doing all that.
Right.
Yo, Mark.
That's what Brave does. She's over the road like that.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, and dispatches herself. She has utilized the dispatcher before, but for the most part, she does her own thing. Her and her husband. So yeah, that's what Mark was asking you. Pretty much, you're in your van, so your home office, you were speaking on that has something to do with your cost per mile.
I'd like to hear Brave's perspective.
But check this out. Okay, here's another one to think about. Like, if you guys are talking about home and whether you're doing it in the van or not, let's think about tolls and miscellaneous and stuff. So how many of you guys would actually incorporate tolls into your cost per mile? I could raise...
That's a variable. It's a variable. You're supposed
There's exactly you're gonna have variables, but that's kind of to the point though. Like some people are actually incorporating their cost per mile versus like another driver and operator, right? Let's say they do it within the state. They're not taking no special pikeway, there's not like, Maryland, New York, or whatever you're at. So they're not going to incorporate that.
Right.
I understand, but she's writing off her home office. She's getting the tax deduction. That's not costing her per mile.
Right. I know. I agree in that too. Like I do that separately.
So,
we're just trying to understand that. That's all.
To each his own. She disagreed, so that's where the debate came from.
Yeah.
So we wanted the justification of adding your house rent to the cost per mile, but I don't know. I guess.
So Brave.
I disagree because it doesn't cost you per mile. You get that as a write-off.
Yep, absolutely. You have your 600 square foot office. You're going to write it off anyways. That's all separate.
Right.
That's right.
Think about it this way, though. Think about the time. If you were to hire someone to do all the admin work that it takes to, get yourself on the road, that would be, you would have to include that in your cost per mile. So if you are self-dispatching, self-employed, that's your time that you would be paying yourself. So I guess you could call it kind of like an administrative fee, but you would be paying for the office space. If you had to rent an office, you'd be paying for someone to work. So maybe think about it that way.
Okay, so since you're pushing this, what's the equation? How are you adding this into your cost per mile?
Well, there's a lot of formulas in a spreadsheet, but we kind of split it up where we have operational costs. That's the base cost. That is literally just what keeps us going. That pays for, our cell phones. It pays for our software. Financial software. Anything that makes our business run. And then we have our all over the road costs. So that would be the fuel, gas, insurance, maintenance, lodging if we have lodging, food. And then after that, we add in, driver pay. If we are driving or if we were to hire drivers, what we would want them to get paid. So that total cost per mile, it grows as you build those things in.
So what's the housing cost that you add? Is that a fixed or is that a variable? And what does that look like?
I would call that a fixed cost. And that just looks, that's just, whatever portion that, you think you're using in your home office, like that same size you would write off on your taxes. It doesn't come to much, but it's...
What is that? What is that?
For us?
I'm saying, what is it?
Like dollar-wise for us?
Yeah, you said it was fixed, so what is it?
It really, over the course of 12 months, it's probably a cent, Our total operational costs, we know, are roughly about 36 cents per mile, our operational business costs. So when we split that into that little portion of rent, maybe a cent or two into the total operational costs.
Do you have a specific number is what he's getting at?
I'm sorry, I'm confused. Like the amount of rent we pay in our home office, or
if it's fixed, you should have a set number.
Set number, yeah.
Yes, it's your rent is the same every month. It's fixed.
Yeah.
So
so in the operation, everything in our operational cost is fixed. We have yearly subscriptions for the financial stuff and our marketing, our CRM, all the tools we use are fixed costs, and so all that goes in together. And so when I break that down, it comes to about a cent per mile for just the office space.
Just the specific. Okay, part of the. Okay. All right, yeah. I get what you're saying.
I think the confusion is you're writing off a portion. You're writing off just the office space, and what we are saying that there are folks that are going out there, they have their rent is $2,000, right? And they're including that entire $2,000 into their cost per mile. That is, we're seeing a lot of it.
Yeah, that would. It's not that you can't. You can't even do that on your taxes. It's only the square space that you actually use.
What I'm saying is, but wait, hold on. What I'm saying that is the disconnect right here, because some folks thought you were writing off your entire rent, not just your office space.
Exactly.
Wouldn't that be great?
So if your rent is $2,000, right? So you can write off like 15% of that. I don't know the exact math, right? But so we thought you were writing off the entire $2,000 was incorporating the entire $2,000.
The whole cost per mile is my whole rent.
Cost per mile.
Jeez.
So that's why they were asking you.
You had all of this messed up here for a second.
Yeah. But I've seen it. I've seen a guy, his rent is $2,200 a month. He put it right there. He did his cost per mile calculator. I'm like, all right, hey, you do what you got to do. And I think he did that so that, hey, if I run at 90, because it came out to 93 cents a mile. And I think he did it that way to say, hey, if I run at 93 cents a mile, all of my bills are paid. That is what's the takeaway. When I took a step back from it and I looked at it,
you had a really,
that's probably, it's not the right way of doing. Well, okay, it's a different way of doing it. Right? I'm not going to say it's a right way or wrong way. It's a different way of doing it. If it works for him, that's fine. But in my opinion, he does not know his true cost per mile. You know,
That's what Mark has been preaching. The majority, actually, probably what 90, 99, 98%. Mark doesn't know.
100.
He said 100.
Okay.
Hey, I know mine.
I was just.
Gray, you're wrong. You don't know yours. You're in the 100.
Yeah.
Mark, you were going to say something earlier. I was going to let you talk.
I'm curious.
Yeah.
But I don't want to push it though, bro. I ain't gonna do you.
No, that's why we're here. That is why we're here.
That's what we up here for.
That is exactly why we have this. We can have a professional discussion. That's why we have it. Yep.
I want to know the formula that she came up with to come up with this penny.
Well, the formula is in a Google spreadsheet, and thank God that there are spreadsheets that can do all the calculations. But it really you just take that percentage you would use for, the taxes, and then you divide it by, 12 months, and kind of what that comes to. And then, I don't know, there's probably a multiplier or something in there. But yeah, really, you break down your average, how many miles you travel per month, and it all comes together. And yeah, so that's kind of, we don't use a big space in our home, so it's pretty small. But imagine if you had a bigger office space in your house, you could get away with a little bit more.
So you use the standard formula for writing off home office space on your taxes?
Basically, yeah. Because that kind of, that's the most logistical way. Yeah, so take the square footage. You got to do the division with, how much you pay per month, and then make that over the course of a year.
And it came out to a penny?
About that, yeah. We're on a laptop on our couch. It's not much space. So, but if you have a whole office in your maybe 400, 500 square feet, room in your home that's a dedicated office, then go with that,
I don't think you can write off that much square feet though. 500.
Yeah, it's up to that. I think it's up to that 600 square feet mark. Yeah. But anyways, let me spit out some numbers there so you can actually see. Let's say you divide that. Let's say your mortgage was like $1,900, right?
I'm cool, bro. I'm cool. We can move on.
I'm just throwing it out there. Let's say it was $1,900, and then you're for the office itself, you're going to be like $475 to $500, and then multiply by 12, so you're at $5,700 to $6,000 for the year you're spending. But if you divide that up on your van, you busted out 100,000 miles, right? You're gonna be at like 0.05 or almost like 0.06.
I just want to know the formula. She threw it out there. People are listening, so somebody might want to know the formula. We can't. It's like on my channel. We got to get to the bottom of it because you never know who's listening.
Yeah,
and
I wish I could give you guys a formula. If we weren't on the road, I would totally just drop it in the chat.
The formula for the taxes is the amount of square feet used divided by the total square feet of the home would be the percentage that you can write off. Now, then you divide that by 12. So I'm just figuring out how did we get to a penny?
A penny.
I know some people like, man, but no, I really want to know this.
Right.
Guys, I'm going to bounce because I'm about to go out of service here in a canyon. So, but I just wanted to thank you for letting me come up and kind of talk through that.
Absolutely.
That is, it's all the extraneous costs that you spend per month that really kind of come and nip you in the butt. It's those add up, and if you're not thinking about your cell phone bills, I mean, even any equipment, you should always be writing off your equipment, tools, supplies, even clothing, anything you have on the road, food. It all adds up, and so you're getting your true cost per mile when you know those things and you incorporate those things in it. Kind of, when you guys were talking about $2 a mile, I mean, that could be part of that $2 a mile. Is maybe that person's spending a lot on various marketing software, all those things. So just keep that in mind, and I think everybody will be more successful.
And you are in a Sprinter van as well?
Yes, we are.
Okay.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yep. Drive safe
Thanks,
out there.
guys. Yep.
Yeah.
Thanks. See ya. Thank you so
up.
much.
Sure thing.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
So, Mark, I would be curious to know what is your base formula for cost per mile. That's someone to build off of. Yeah, that someone can build off, because I think we're all in agreement that it's going to vary by in each individual, and there's a lot of factors that go into it, whether your geographical location, the type of equipment that you have, your frequency of moving, so on and so forth. So what would you offer as a general formula that someone can build off of?
It's cost over miles driven. The only reason I was pushing her is because I just wanted to know how she formulated this 1 penny.
Right.
Like, I write off this studio in my home. So I know the formula for writing off space in your home, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to figure out how it came out to a penny. That's why I asked her what the formula was. Right off the formula, she didn't know what the formula was. How do we get it all the way down to a penny?
And the only thing I can really make sense of is, like she was just saying, I guess, like, she didn't have it in front of her at the time. But I mean, that's, other than that, yeah.
But a penny is.
No, I know. Yeah, that doesn't make sense to me either. No, that doesn't make sense to me either. I know.
I'm saying, like,
No,
I mean, it could work for her. We don't know how big her home is. That could work for her.
I love Mark's reactions.
I was just curious as to everyone's. As long as you're making a profit, I guess is a safe space or a safe response.
Yeah.
As long as you're making a profit. At the end of the day, whatever formula you're using.
No, we can't say that.
Why is that?
We can't say
Elaborate.
that. It ain't whatever formula you're using. The formula is universal.
The formula is the formula.
The formula is the formula. So it ain't whatever formula we're using. It's cost over miles driven.
So that's what I was asking you earlier. So that's the basic foundation of the cost per mile. I'm in agreement with you, but I'm just saying, if whether I did 2 + 2 is 4 or 3 + 1 is 4, right? If it's working for me, it's working for me.
No,
is where I'm getting to.
Okay.
No, go ahead, Mark. Go ahead. No, we're listening.
She said, forget it, bro. Forget it.
No, we're here.
We're
listening, Mark.
Let's talk, Mark.
We're here. We're here listening, man. That's why we're here. We're here listening to you.
I get what she's saying, but she was saying if the formula, it's only one formula. So it's in this situation, your example of 4, 2 + 2 is 4, and 3 plus 1 is 4. It's multiple ways to get to 4. Mm-hmm. But for cost per mile, it's cost over miles driven.
Right. But let me clarify what I'm saying Perhaps.
Clarify. Yeah, clarify.
Yeah, what I'm clarifying, the basic foundation to the cost per mile, you're exactly right, is going to be what you just stated, right? But what I was referencing is her example is what she was using for her costs. So she was choosing to include a portion of where she resides as her office space, right? So that's what I'm saying. Her cost is not going to look like the next person.
That wasn't the argument. That was the initial thing, was why she came into the chat and she says, I disagree with you guys. We add our house costs. I said, why? She came up. All right. So I asked what the justification was. I asked her what the number was. She danced. She came up with a number. It didn't make sense to me. So I asked for more justification on how did you determine a penny. She said, I'm gonna get up out of here.
Oh yeah. I see what you're saying. That's why I said earlier the only explanation to that was she was like, well, we don't have it in front of us, but other than that, I was like, I got nothing as far as.
But for real, you know, it ain't got to be in front of you. I mean, that's just like he said.
Yeah.
Mark said, I know my formula.
Right off the top of my head. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Writing this office off right here. For writing my space off right here, my studio.
I'm just going off of what she said. That's it. I'm just going off of what she said.
The thing was one penny though, Mike. You know what I'm saying?
No, I agree. I was scratching my head. I think we were all scratching our head at that.
Y'all are wild on here. I don't know.
No,
y'all trying to crucify people for one penny over here, Mark. He's crazy.
No, he's kidding. He's kidding, Mark.
Nah, I'm halfway not kidding, bro. He's over here like trying to be like, hey, let me really break it down over one penny.
But see, this is the problem.
Yeah.
If you allow a person and if a person can't justify what they're saying, you never know who's listening to the office. Now somebody just added a penny to the cost per mile. So it's not a crucify. If you're gonna sit on a panel and call yourself an educator in the space, then that's what you got to do. And that's why I said I wanted to leave it alone, because I felt the sentiment, and I said, you know what, fuck it, I'll just leave it alone. But I'm not finna. If I'm sitting on a panel and I want justification because I want to know.
No, yeah. You're absolutely valid for that.
That just don't make sense.
No, you're valid for that. Yeah.
I think the main.
If you challenge, if I said, why are you writing your house, and you challenge me, all right, so what's up then? What we doing? She challenged me. So, what you want me to do? Just let a person say, yeah, okay, give me some bullshit justification and just let it fly?
No, that's why we're here.
If we see something, if we see something, we dive into it, and that makes sense. I would just say in regards to the operating costs, that's where I think people really they plug and play things overall. You know what I mean? And that's where it changes. But the formula is going to be the same for getting your cost per mile. It's going to be your operating costs divided by total miles driven.
Well, when you say the same, elaborate, Pinnacle. Elaborate on the same.
That wasn't the point. I said, how did you come up with a penny? We got 2 weeks past that. I let her have that, right? She adds it. I'm not finna argue a person if they want to add shit to their cost per mile. They shouldn't be in their cost per mile. Once she said she's adding it, I left it alone. When she said that penny shit, I want to know how you came up with a penny.
The penny. Yeah.
You trying to get to a penny?
What are you writing off? 0.0000.
We don't even
0.01 cent. Yeah.
They don't even give out pennies in the stores no more.
Because somebody in the chat made it. Listen, one thing that I learned are people are just gonna follow people.
Right.
So if I want a justification so that somebody that's listening in the chat just don't go add a penny to their cost per mile.
Yeah.
I see where you're coming from.
Yeah, because we can't just hope for a whim that they're going to be like, I'm just going to listen to like Mark and only Mark. I mean, like, that's crazy that, just because you hear something online or just, one person is really shouting at the top of their lungs, like, oh, this app is working for me. Y'all got to get on freight or something. You know what I mean? Like, and then you pull up freight in your city and zone, and that trash is just dead. So like you're saying, by listening to that one person, like that's the answer that is going to like solve all your problems, and utilizing that one specific app is going to solve everything. Like, nah.
Listen, there's a lady on my channel. I did the clip this morning. She pulled out her 401k and lost it all just listening to people on the internet.
Christ
Yeah,
almighty.
yeah, I believe it.
I mean, like I said, I talk to people all the time. All the time. People listen to people. They don't go back and do their own due diligence. And what a stranger says on the internet is law. So the reason why I push it is because I learned that by doing content on the internet. So I go out of my way to get justification because it's 40 people in here and one person might just go add 1 cent because they heard her say that, but don't even know why they add 1 cent.
Yeah.
No, that's why. Like, yeah.
And that's why we wanted
to counteract that.
Oh, go ahead,
UTL.
Yeah.
So to counteract that, then, Mark, what should be the proper calculation that they're using for if they're using a home office? I know I respect what you're saying. I agree with what you're saying 100%. But since it was brought on to this platform, then I want to make sure that we're also giving the correct response to it.
I don't think you should add your home office to your cost per mile. I think you should write that off on your taxes.
Yeah, I second that because if you're going to break down the actual calculated, so like let's say your home is like 2,300 square feet, your office is going to be up. You're going to write off that up to that 600 square feet mark. So you're going to have to divide that up. 600 divided by 2,300 square feet of your home, that's about 26%.
So now add that to your cost per mile, and then let me know how much your cost per mile is going to go up to now.
26%. Let's go.
So this goes back to what I'm saying. I don't think you should add your house to your cost per mile. That's just something you should write off on your taxes. But she disagreed. I was invited over here to really have this dialogue and debate style, and
but that's why I like you up here, Mark. That's why And I'll just from last month. Remember, I was telling you last month when you came up here and you enjoyed this open mic, right? And you said that out loud. So the point I was making is that we welcome what you're saying. Like when you said when you were about to like put the brakes on, and like me and BC were like welcome you to go deeper. It's because we value that type of energy. We want that type of energy.
I don't want to, if people feel a certain type of way, bro, this ain't my platform.
It's Mark. That's on them if they do. That's not on you. That's not your fault.
Hey,
that's them.
First rule was, hey, you got to have tough skin.
You got to have tough skin.
Up here.
Yes.
I'm going to say this. They put a lot of brain work into just getting one more penny. The juice ain't worth the squeeze. All right?
Yeah.
That was too much brain work to add 1 penny. Just go ahead and add 1 penny. God bless it.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying, though, is that it's on the individual if they get offended. Like, not everybody is, and this may, I'm saying this as a general statement, not everybody is for everybody, and that's fine. So it's like, that's on the individual if they get offended. Like, it is what it is. I gave up on trying to appease people's emotions a long time ago because you're going to stress yourself out into the grave trying to do that. So it's just.
I'm not tripping on that. I mean, I would have kept going, but
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So,
she got up out that jam. So.
She said, I gotta go. I gotta get out of here.
So to clarify what you're saying, Mark, is her including the home office with their cost per mile could be putting them in a position where they're missing out on opportunities because they think it's not enough money. Because it's not truly covered, because your cost per mile is what is needing for that equipment to move.
Exactly. The cost per mile is what it's costing you to run. Your home is not costing you to run.
Right.
Your home doesn't cost you to run.
And I think
See, I'm an educator, so I like to break things down differently because someone might not get what you're saying because they're so focused on the tone that's being used. We got a lot of people that are emotional. They're emotional and they don't understand. It doesn't bother me. Like I'm from California, I'm from the hood, so like that don't bother me. I grew up with a whole bunch of dudes and they talk reckless. You know what I'm saying? So
I grew up in an Italian family where everybody just was yelling all the time. So
So, but I get where he's coming from. You know what I'm saying? But another person listening may be like, "Oh, his tone or whatever." But you're missing the point, which is, if you're including things into your cost per mile that really doesn't affect your vehicle moving, then you may be missing opportunity. You may be missing money because you think it's not enough money. When in reality, you should be focusing on what it costs for your equipment to be afloat, whether it's moving or it's not moving. You know what I'm saying?
But she
Or
put in
well,
the
whether
chat.
it's
She
moving.
said if you're riding up, first of all, it's costing you per mile fuel. Your fuel is costing you to run. You're out on the road. You're outside your home market. So food would be looked at as a per diem, right? So this is costing you to run because she's in the chat. I'm just responding to her in the chat. Your home office isn't costing you to run. Cost per mile. It's not costing you out in the field, right? And the main reason why I was pushing it was more so not to go against her. I just want justification because I'm always mindful of the individuals that's watching in the chat. And then she also said, because I was ready to go further if she was going to go, and she said, when we do it for the year, my next thing was so you only do your cost per mile once a year? So I was already lined up, you dig what I'm saying? But that's why I just wanted to let it go, bro, because I knew it was just going to be a long-winded thing.
Well, another thing is you really got to listen to the words that are used, because she said home office, right? But if you continue to listen, she said we do it from our sofa.
You said what
So
again?
are you doing it? She said at first we include our home office.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And she continued on. She says, well, we do it from our sofa.
Right.
Couch.
So to me, you don't have an office. You're sitting in the living room on your laptop, and you're calling your sofa an office.
Right.
Jesus.
That's why I wanted to what square feet was she
Right.
using? I wanted to justify.
The way you said that was just funny. On the couch.
And
the way
But that's what she said.
Watching TV while dispatching.
Right. So what happens is I listen to actual words.
Right off the sofa. Yeah, exactly.
Because words mean something. And when you let people talk, they will tell you their entire story. So as she went on, the story, I'm with Mark, it kind of didn't make sense to me. But I understand, like, okay, you want another penny? Hey, just add that other penny. Too much brain work for 1 cent to me. All right? Because we go drive 1,000 miles and you do a penny. What's the math on that? $1? All right? I ain't worried about that. So
I need to pay back Ashley Furniture. That's why I'm implementing that.
Yeah. The way I do understand this, and I've done these days, is that, like it was said here, it's about being honest with yourself. It's a business running. It's not just like a job. So you have the fixed cost, variable cost, and something I did lately add is the depreciation of the vehicle itself you're going to buy. And also the owner, the money you pay yourself as well, you can fix it. But again, at the end of the day, you should fix something that's gonna make you stay afloat and compete in the market. You might bring that number high and then you cannot have a load. So anything go like also the other thing I did lately, to be honest by myself, and go, since I'm in business, here is the money I did spend to stay in this business and how many mileage I did run. So I call it a real-time mile per cost per mile, in real time. And many times it might be different than the number I'm trying to justify me taking a load. So anything that I go, okay, I'm gonna divide, like I might project to drive this month, let's say 10,000 miles. Okay, so for that month, in case of the paying the rent or maybe the mortgage, okay, if I'm gonna put entire mortgage, I might not, make or take any load. So I need to be honest with myself. Okay, I may pay only, let's say, or contribute to only $200 to that mortgage from this business. It will be better to do it that way than just, put it entire number. So the number, I don't think there is a fixed number. So you need to know exactly like as we speak now in the market, okay, let's say an average load is like, an average rate is, let's say, 150, let's say. So you need to make sure that your mile per or cost per mile gonna be below 1.5. So you better find a way to make that happen. Or maybe you don't say, I'm not going to pay mortgage using fund from my business. Find a different way to pay your mortgage. Or if you find out that fuel is taking too much, you won't be able to stay in the business. And the number gonna be high. Find a way that the number is below the 1.50, which is the market paying. So that's the way I see anything go the projected mile. Like I said, you're gonna drive 10,000 miles in that month. Okay, then everything you're gonna do, make sure it stay below that 1.50, which might be the rate. It's the best way. It's something I even did yesterday. I sit down like 10 hours trying to look anything I'm paying my business and put that and see how much it costs me to stay in the business. And I realized that, yes, I'm really breaking even. I'm not really making money. I was able to take money away, pay myself, but I realized, okay, so I did break even because I put too much money to stay in the business. I had even some time to borrow money to pay for some repair, So I need to be honest with myself. Am I making money this way? And see, okay, if I'm not making money, we better do, okay, I'm gonna do what? I'm gonna expand or do like over the road or stay 2-3 weeks on the road than just working 1 week.
So what's your cost per mile then?
For now, it's 1.1.
$1.10.
$1.01. $1.01.
Like 1.01 or 1.1 as in like one.
$1.10.
10 cents. Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
$1.10.
I was like picturing it like calculator wise. I was like, what is he? I got you. Okay.
So the way I do it is this: I take all the all the fixed cost. I divide it by the projected 10,000 miles for that month, because it's average. I'm doing now. I'm like a 6-month business, yeah. And I take all the variable cost. I divide it by that 10,000 miles. And in the case of the vehicle, I know I bought this vehicle this a month, and I look at the market of the vehicle. For now, I did put about, I would say, I put about 34,000 miles on it. So now I know, based on the market value, my vehicle gonna be sold about $15,000. So I bought it for 24, and tomorrow I'm gonna sell it for 30. I'm gonna sell it for 15,000. That difference, I'm gonna divide it by the 35. So I did put, so okay, let's say 24 minus 15,000. We're talking about like 9,000 difference. I divide that by the mile I did dry put on it. The depreciation is not the cost. Because remember, it's a fleet. My vehicle. So I need to know in 5 years, whatever it's gonna be, I need to, put out.
Hey, what were you saying, Mark? Go ahead. Go ahead, Mark. Go ahead. You go ahead.
I wanted to ask him something because he said something about he uses projected miles, and I just want to know why.
Right, that's what I'm kind of concerned with. Like, why are we doing projected miles when you don't, are you going to actually utilize the actual mileage that you're actually driving, like daily and weekly? Like, that should be.
He's been driving 6 months. Why doesn't he just use real miles?
Right.
I just didn't want him to keep talking, bro. So I just wanted to.
No, because I mean that would like it would make it inaccurate. You're the way you're dividing everything up between like accumulated miles that are never going to be there. You know, if your van only, you know, if he only made 5,000 miles, that's half. You know what I mean?
His cost per mile is in $1.10.
Yes. I was saying this. I have two metrics. I have a real-time mileage and what I'm trying to project to drive. If I have to charge somebody, you know, for what I'm gonna have to do to charge him for doing me working for him or the business.
He asked you what was your cost.
This is what I'm trying to explain here. So, like I was able to track that. I'm driving about 10,000 miles in a month. So everything I'm gonna spend, I'm gonna divide that by 10,000. So that's let's say not realize that it's costing me $1.10 to drive, to stay in the business. So if I'm gonna have to find a load, you know, I need to be about it'll be higher than that. So maybe 120, you know, something like that.
So your rate per mile is 120 and your cost per mile is 110.
That's very close to each other.
That's too close.
Yeah, I was going to say that's pretty close.
Well, what's concerning is
you're not doing it off his realistic numbers.
Correct.
So
and
it's not his cost per mile.
They're usually very far apart from each other. Well, not very far, but fairly far.
But
yeah.
What's concerning is you are including your vehicle depreciation in your cost per mile. And like we had talked about earlier, that is a tax write-off. All right. It sounds like you need to get with someone like UTL and he can talk you through the taxes because your vehicle gets depreciated every year. So you have to come up with that strategy to get you down to zero in either 4 years or 5 years, right? So that's why you need to talk to someone. That's why your cost per mile is so high because you're saying, hey, I got to figure out how to account for these $5,000 or the $15,000. No, that's covered in vehicle depreciation. So at the end of the year, when you do your taxes and they say, okay, year, make a vehicle, boom, you put that in. Okay, how many miles did you drive? Okay, here's your depreciated value, right? Or you can say, hey, this is how much I'm going to depreciate my vehicle every year. And that is the easiest way of doing it. To say, hey, every year, like with me, my vehicle depreciates $7,500 every year. So I got 3 more years and then I'm at zero. That's just the way it is. So you're doing, you know, you're kind of putting too much stress on yourself to get that higher rate.
That stressed me out hearing that. It was a lot.
Where, like UTL was saying, now you are moving yourself away from other loads that may not pay that because your cost per mile is incorrect.
Yeah.
Yo, Mark, this is I stand behind what you're saying because if I see more examples of this, I'm just like, wow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. You see what I'm talking about?
That's like
That's that 100%. That's that 100%.
That should wake up everybody too, man. Like to be like, yo, if you know, like clearly other people have different variables or how they're doing the math. You know what I mean? And I understand that, but it's like,
that is beyond overcomplication right there. Beyond it. Yeah. To infinity and beyond. Like, it's just, I don't know.
This is exactly what I was talking about initially in the beginning about understanding the business before you even jump. My heart goes out to these individuals because all they're trying to do is make a living for their family. But the issue is what I'm constantly running into is people don't know how to put their pride to the side and say they don't know. And listen to someone that does and then help them. You know, Mark gives gems all day, every day. You
all
can go
day, every
to
day.
This page and you can figure this market out. You can figure out this business just by listening. Your page, everyone on here drops content that can help you. But Instead of you saying you don't understand, and Mark is doing a great job with pointing out, like, you really don't, he's asking you discovery questions to make you think about it.
Yeah.
All I'm doing is asking follow-up questions for those that may need to learn differently. But he's asking the appropriate discovery questions to help you see, because he can tell by the way you're talking. But he's helping you see that you don't know what you're doing, and that's why you're making these costly mistakes. It is important for you to invest in a mentor, someone, a coach, someone that can sit you down, you be 100% transparent, and then walk you through what you are doing incorrectly, because there is no reason why you should get on this platform or anyone's platform or get on your social media page talking about the, truck and transportation is garbage. Until they have perfected time travel, transportation is here for life, and people are making good money. That's because they understand their business. It's not a cookie cutter industry. It's what's working for me is not going to work for you, because my overhead and what goes into my business being successful is going to be different from yours. But this is what I was talking about earlier, that there's way too many people in this industry that's buying the equipment first. You're starting off in debt because you haven't even figured out how to find the money, but you have the equipment and you got the insurance. You're in debt already. So, I mean, I don't know what we can have these conversations until we're blue in the face, but the reality of it is people have to understand it's a different beast when you are running your own business, and you should want to invest in someone helping you understanding what you're getting into. It's much more than just getting equipment and getting a contract. It's much more than that.
Absolutely. And don't linger on the time too. People delay things every single day, right? Well, I'll just get back to my back office. I'll record my mileage later and so forth. And by the time you sit here and sit down on your back office, you're either too tired or you have 10 other excuses why you don't want to continue to articulate, your cost overall. Like, where am I at on my cost per mile? Like, where am I losing? You know what I mean? You could be 7-9 months already into it, making the same mistake, losing out on money and losing out, period, because you don't even know your cost per mile. You're just running and accepting the load and thinking something didn't change. No, it's going to change. The moment that your insurance company is like, hey, your new premium is going to be this much, you know what I mean? You should be sitting down and costing it out, not 6 months from now sitting down and costing it out and figuring out your cost per mile and then just taking random loads.
Yep.
And that's what I think that's what we were speaking on earlier, is basically that's what's happening. It's not a given no more. You got to come up with a good strategy that's going to sustain your company out here.
The formula's the same. The answer is going to be different, and that's what it boils down to.
I think the biggest takeaway is, well, one thing I really want to say is we're putting a lot of information out. So this is like drinking from a fire hose, right? So if you're new here, right, 6 months, what I would do, if you want to run local, and I say this on my page, right, get with BCMC Logistics. He got that crap figured out, all right? He'll be an excellent mentor for that. If you want to learn about gig apps and all that stuff, get with Cargo. Hey, he's the king of that stuff. Brave is a jack of all trades. Now we got another resource here in is it UTL or UTL?
UTL.
I think it's
UTL.
Yes, UTL.
Yeah.
UTL. It's my first time on here, and first time hearing her speak, and she's dropping gems. Mark is dropping gems. There's too many people right here in this podcast that if you do not know what you're doing, reach out to them. And what I like about this community is we will give you some free chicken. We're not going to give you a free meal. We're going to give you some free chicken.
I like how you put that. That was very well said.
Yeah. But you're going to have to do some homework. Just because BCMC Logistics says, hey, do this, it's like someone else said, yeah, that works in his area, right? So it might not work for you. Like a gig app might not work for you in Atlanta, but it's going to work for you in Greer, South Carolina, right?
Exactly.
So we got to figure this stuff out for you. And you have to do your homework. Don't come back and say, well, Gray said, no. Gray said, do what's best for you. Research your market. Because what works for one man, what works for one driver might not work for another driver. You know, like one thing that you guys got to understand, it comes down to knowledge, discipline, and consistency. That's it. If you got those three things, then you're going to be fine in this business. And don't say, oh, well, this guy's making this guy's making that. I give a damn what the next guy's making.
That's pocket watching. Don't worry about that. Yeah.
There's too many variables.
Watching that grass on the other side, huh? I see.
Right. It's like, hey, Braves could go out there and kill $15,000 that month. You're like, how did she do it? Well, she ran like a damn dog. You know, she was just living off of freaking Red Bull, you know, like Transporter. Hey, that's my dog right there.
Oh, God.
You ain't going to outdrive him.
You better put him on blast, Gray.
No, I'm serious. You're not going to outdrive that man. That man has a vision and a focus. He's like, hey, I'm going to do this. All right. So if you do not have that discipline to his level or that drive to that level, you're not going to make what he makes. And then if your business is not set up the way his is set up, you're not going to make that. So don't compare yourself to another company. Like I say, comparison is a thief of joy.
Yep.
So discipline, consistency, and knowledge. Too much knowledge in this room for you guys to walk away and not know what the heck is going on.
But some people, and I think everybody knows what this is analysis paralysis. Sometimes they have all the information in the world. They just don't apply any of it.
Can I say one thing?
It's on them, man. I mean, that's the same, like me, like when Mark was talking about that, like those same people will get eaten up. And that's naturally the circle of it all. I mean, you're going to have that.
Yeah, and that's the discipline part.
Discipline.
You got the knowledge. Hey, well, I'm just going to use this part. Nah, you got to use the whole thing, man. You know, your vehicle don't run with just the engine. If you don't have that transmission, drivetrain, and tires, you know, the vehicle ain't going to run. So you can't just say, hey, I got to make sure my engine's good. No, you got to make sure everything's good. Same with this business. You got to make sure everything's good. The back office stuff, hey, I sit there on my phone and I'll just plug stuff into my spreadsheet and it's linked to my Google Drive. So when on my maintenance week, hey, I just sit there and I just update everything. And most of it's updated because, hey, I'm sitting in that parking lot. I just got loaded. Hey, I put all my information in there. I put my gas estimate in there. And then at the end of the run, I put in how much I actually spent on gas. You know, and that's how I keep my business going. That is what works for me. It might not work for you, but I'm a numbers in the spreadsheet guy.
Yeah. You know, another topic I want to touch on, honestly, and I was talking to Pinnacle about this. I really wish Mission stayed here for this one because I talked to him about this today. This has to do with direct customers. This has to do with brokers, and I would say, as well, is pretty much understanding. And this also, this is also a skill to have when you're a business owner, is being able to understand both point of views. A lot of people have a limited capacity of understanding. They don't want to understand. Or they just simply can't. That's beside the point. But I guess what I'm trying to ask out of this, when I ask is like basically a topic to start here, is cost. Whenever you and a shipper are talking. And a lot of the times in Pinnacle, you can back me up in this because we've had these discussions before, is basically they choose availability over quality. Sometimes they choose the cheaper rate versus the driver, but that's because there's different point of views. There's different things that everybody's looking at. What would you say, and somebody can start here, on how one can bridge the gap with that?
Ask it again?
Yeah, I know. So I was thinking about this today because a lot of the times, and I think, and Mission when we had a mock live earlier, by the way, because we were trying to work stuff out. He because I was talking to him individually, and he said this would be a phenomenal topic to bring up because I was trying to really put this in words. Is basically, you know how a business owner, well, not a business, you know how a shipper, a broker are looking at things differently as far as cost goes versus a driver, right? They look at it completely different because they're trying to run, you know, whether it's a parcel, whether it's a skid, they're trying to run it for as low as possible, right? We're trying to get it for a fair amount of pay. I'm saying, what do you think kind of bridges the gap to where they quit looking at, you know, trying to get it for the cheapest? Meanwhile, cheap isn't always better. I guess
to answer that, there's
sure,
I think there's many facets to it. Like you could do, this is just gonna open up to the community here, but number one, like you have to position yourself like a carrier, not a driver. Okay, so you're not just gonna be like a van here and, you know, selling set services. Two, it's all about building like the what do I want to call this? We'll just leave it as like the shipper. Like when you're ready between the shipper is ready for the infrastructure, but I don't want to touch base on that separately. And then number three is your relationships with like even smaller shippers. You know, instead of chasing after like bigger, I mean, I'm not chasing after like Michelin tires or BMW or so forth. You know, there might be some smaller moves you can make, or bigger moves you can make with like smaller shippers. Okay, and that would plant you and you know, scale you in that direction for success rather than just chasing after the big guys all the time. And, you know, they're just wanting to work with brokers directly. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And then you can sell on reliability over the price. I mean, it's not always going to be about the price, right? Because, I mean, it'll be somebody else. I can do it cheaper. That's no problem. Just call me directly, you know? But I mean, with the shippers, they care about more of, is the product going to be there on time? Like, or am I going to be like having to, you know, is your equipment, you know, worthy of carrying my product across like state lines? So in that case, you know, your pitch might become, you know, real-time updates, direct communication, no freight handoffs. You're not just, you know, transloading from van to van somewhere and someone else is going to do the job. Not doing any of that, you know, same driver equals that same accountability. The consistency also, you know, creates contracts in the future. That's opportunities. So these are just like some key points.
Yeah, I think that
the transporter said it's too many content creators that are giving bad advice.
Well, you just ignore those bad content creators and you just listen to the ones that make sense and are actually factual instead of just spewing out, you know, opinions. I mean, things need to be backed up by facts and success versus, well, also, you know, bad experiences also matter because those are also lessons. But I mean, overall, and I feel like I look at experience whenever I think of that question or that statement is I look at somebody's experience, their track record, how they teach. Honestly, like I just look at somebody's track record overall. Like I can tell when somebody's just giving an opinion versus literally just being like, hey, like what they're saying actually adds up. And I think that goes back to what we talked about earlier is don't just listen to one person, listen to multiple different people and get an overall analysis from it. But yeah.
I think to Pinnacle's question, I would say how we bridge that gap is we can't have a broad spectrum starting off in this space. You have to be razor focused and making sure that you are presenting yourself as a carrier that they can trust. And that's a whole that's your marketing, that's your sales, that's your customer service, that's your appearance, that's your equipment, that's you being able to speak their language. If you're marketing, and I think that's another thing people across the board in transportation have to understand. When you're first starting off, you need to perfect one lane. You can't be all over the board. You know what I'm saying? Especially like a dispatcher. Oh, I've seen so many people, they just get through learning how to dispatch, and I dispatch sprinter vans, box truck, reefer. All of those are different beasts of their own. And it's no way starting out the gate that you're going to perfect and be knowledgeable of each one of those lanes. So I think that's the same when you're marketing yourself to a shipper or manufacturer, or you're trying to get a dedicated lane. Do your research about that specific niche. If you're in a state that you know there's several manufacturers that manufacture tires, and you want to get a contract with them, be able to speak their language. When you're walking up to them, you look professional. You're just speaking with authority. You know what they're where they're shipping the products to, or the local community tire shops. Be able to speak with authority, and that's what's going to help you to be able to speak with authority in regards to what you're asking for. That market, what the rate is going for that particular commodity when it's being shipped and moved. So you're not going in there asking for $1,200 for a month when that particular product across the board they're only paying $600 for it. Like, you need to understand your niche and know your business. That's what's going to help you stand out against your competitors. Even if they're coming with a lower price range, a business person doesn't mind paying for something that they know they're going to get a return on their investment on.
True. Pinnacle, by the way, thank you for clarifying and simplifying the complicated topic I was trying to put together. Appreciate that, man. Yeah, because I was like, everybody got quiet. I was like, oh, man, I didn't simplify that good enough. I was like, gosh. Oh, man. But I'm glad you finally got what I was trying to say. I'm glad you finally got it.
Like to piggyback off of that, there's like so many fast. I mean, sorry, UTL. Quickly, just in regards to what you were saying, on the dispatching side, you see what I'm saying? Like with dispatching services, a lot of dispatchers like actually over deliver on their promises, and like just to attain the broker and just be like, hey, I just want to lock this in, knowing that like they have specific lanes and they're like so eager and so forth. And that's another aspect that really just like tanks, you know what I mean, in that regard. But as far as being professional, like just I mean, being clean, presentative, you're not stumbling for stuff. You basically had like a mock up. You talk to somebody with your circle of friends, and it was like, okay, here's what I need to say when I come talk to the shipper, so that I know exactly what to say and articulate before I even go in there into the building. And then just the professionalism outside of that, like what does your company look like? Do you have like a logo established? Do you have business cards? Do you have like an adequate email address? Because I mean, some brokers won't even take you seriously if you don't even have anything outside of a Gmail account. I mean, not to say Gmail account's bad, but I mean that you got to start somewhere. The main point is like, how far are you carrying your professionalism really in regards to that? If the shipper looks at it, you have a website, you have systems in place, right? They're more inclined to trust you to give you even a contract down the road that you could actually do for a year or two.
Fair enough. You guys have anything to add to that? Mark, Gray, BC, SJ?
Yeah. To piggyback off of what Pinnacle and UTL said, I think it's more or less presentation, reliability, and just that overall relationship that you have. Like, for instance, I'm working closely with one store, Discount Tire, which would be huge for me to take their big loads. And to me, it's easy because of the confidence that I have within myself. In my area, Rody handles their loads, but we all know when you're doing pickup tires, a Prius can't handle 4 or 5 tires. So easily in my cargo van, I can handle that. So I asked them to use me as a trial run to see if I can handle it. So I wanted them to use the examples of reliability, space, and being on time. And I was able to handle that. So I think within maybe a week or two, I could draw up a contract. So that's just me going in there, knowing what the problem is, fixing the problem, and having examples of dependability to be able to secure that contract. So I think it's all about, relationships and fixing their problem, because their main problem is, having, people with Camrys and Priuses and Honda Accords knowing good and damn well they can't fit those tires in there. And I could come in with ease. Like Mark says, I'm trying to sweep up what people are negligent on what they can do. I'm sorry, this is a jungle and I'm ready to eat. You know what I mean? So that's a perfect example right there. So you have to go in with confidence, like UTL says, professional, and just talk your talk. If you know what your game is about and your game is on point, you shouldn't have nothing to worry about. Honestly, there shouldn't be nothing to worry about. And I'm ready to eat. You know, if Rhodey can't handle it, I'll handle it.
Oh, well.
Because that one store can turn into 2 stores, 3 stores, and it can lead me to a fleet of trucks. That's the way I look at it down the line.
I was able to fit 4 tires in my Honda Civic, and I'm not lying. When you said that, I was like, you know, when I started, surprisingly, when I had my Honda Civic, I made it work as much as possible. And I mean, I'm surprised them seats weren't tore up with how I was just putting tires. I mean, there were regular tires, not pickup truck tires, you know, like regular sedan. I just put 2 in the trunk. It was like 1 on one seat and 1 on another seat. I know what you're talking about. I did those. There was like I know Freight has done them. Sempex has done them. Rhodey has done them. I'm trying to think of another gig app that did the tire runs, but I used to do them all the time.
Dispatch does it as well.
I'm trying to think if I've done it off of Dispatch It. I think maybe one time I did it off of them, but no. You'll be surprised what somebody could fit in their car. You really will. It'll be just shocking.
And I'm saying no disrespect to, you know, people that have cars, because that's
not at all. Yeah.
But the one problem that I've overheard when I have, you know, a dispatcher, you know, give me tire runs with discount tires is that they're like, man, it's always roady and they can't fit it. So that's where I jumped in, you know, very professional, you know, communicated with them, and I allowed them to do, you know, a trial run with me. I got paid, but I allowed them to do a trial run and give them, you know, every little problem that they seen fit, and I was able to come through on it. So I think by the end of next week, I'll have a contract sold up. So that's being, you know, aggressive. Thank you, y'all. I appreciate it. It's just being aggressive, and it just goes back to what we talked about previously, is knowing your market, what the problems is, being able to solve it, you know, and putting that pride aside. I think, you know, there's a lot of people out here that are afraid to put their pride to the side. You know, even at 54 years old, I still talk with my mentor because I still have questions, and I'm not afraid to do that. So, you know, if you want to, you know, stay in this business, always ask questions and put your pride to the side.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. You know, you made yourself an asset to Discount Tire, and that's what we have to, you know, find where we can, you know, that door that we can knock on, so we can open it up just like you did.
Yeah, I finally landed a direct shipper, and it was only because he liked the way I spoke to him. I didn't walk in like, oh, I'm here to pick this up. I walked in, hey, good morning. How are you doing today? Looked at me. I was presentable, you know, no slang, you know, and we just got to talking. So I just asked him, I think, how often do you guys do this run? He says, well, you know, once a week we get an emergency run and whatever. I said, well, I can do this for you. I'm based right here in Charlotte. And then he asked me a question. He said, if you can answer this, we can do business. How do I pay you? So I said, well, I can send you a pay link that goes through Square One. You can use your credit card, your company credit card to pay me, or we can do an EFT and we'll do a net 28 days. Or you can, if you'd like to use the Cash App or the Zelle and all that, I can set up an account and we can use that route. And he says, well, I have a company card and I will pay you that way. Now, one thing about having the direct shipper, this man called me one day at 5 o'clock in the morning. Hey, I got a delivery that got to go down to Greenville, South Carolina. Can you be here at 6:30? All right, man, I'm up. All right, hold on. Let me work up the numbers. Here's the numbers. I sent you the link. I'll be there at 6:30. I made sure I was there at 6:15. I got there before his crew got there. He comes up in his pickup truck like, oh, you're already here. Yep, I'm here. I'm ready to roll. Let's go. So don't think that you're going to get a direct shipper and it's going to be 9 to 5. It's going to be when they need you, and you have to make yourself available.
Oh.
It could be a Saturday. Hey, you want to keep that direct shipper, or do you want to go partying with the fellas?
Yeah.
Business first.
Yeah.
That's true. I mean, they're going to have their, requirements and necessities to maintain business structure, with their clients. So in order for them to do that, it might be at a load directly, like, that's a part of assembly line or a certain specific piece that needs to go to an airline right now to get it shipped out. They called you for a reason, right? And you're there to accommodate their needs specifically. But another thing that Gray will point out is like having more than one way that you accept payment, especially if you guys are attending your own customers directly, and giving the opportunity for that client to really be like, okay, hey, I can't do that, or hey, I don't have time to keep track of all the extra back office stuff. But like you're simplifying it for them, where it's just like one click away. That's like game changer too, because they want to be able to take care of that. They, especially maybe on courier stuff, like they send a bunch of packages. They just want to take care of that transaction today. It's paid for, and you're moving on.
Can I give you guys 2 gems, right? Since we're on finances.
Drop it. Yeah.
You should have more than one business account.
Okay.
Yes.
More than one business account. Found, FUND.com. It's a fintech business for business account. Inside of Found, you can actually send an invoice. And when you send the invoice to them, they click on the link and make the payment, and it goes directly into your account. Found. Novo, Novo. It's a fintech bank as well. It can do the exact same thing. These are 2 business accounts. All you need is your corporation docs. You need your EIN, and it will verify you, but it doesn't base it off of your personal credit. But
Do you know
those
if
are
there's like a monthly fee to that account? Or
no, there is not. Not
Okay.
No, not the plans that I had. Not the plans that I have. But those are 2. I know a lot of people are concerned they're getting into this space. They don't have a lot of money to get started with, or their personal credit is jacked up, so it prevents them from, being able to get a bank account, a commercial bank account rather. But those are 2 that I have found that they didn't. I literally did it like in less than 20 minutes on my phone. But that's a great option too that you can use, when you're, if they're asking how do they, pay you, you can tell them, listen, I can send you an invoice and click the link, because they want quick, fast, and proficiency.
Correct.
They don't want to have to click a whole bunch of links, and another way is what is it? Stripe, you can have a direct link on your Linktree account. Linktree is a cheap way to have like a way for them to learn more about your business. You can have your social media on there. You can have your website on there, or a landing page on there. But you can have a button for Stripe on your Linktree. You can send them the whole link, so you can have like a bio about your business and whatever. That's a way that they can click right there on that button and go straight to your Stripe account and pay their invoice. So those are 3 options outside of course, Square and PayPal now has it where you can send them a direct link through text message. So you want to make sure that your business is in your back pocket. So I always tell my clients that are starting off, a cheap way to make sure you have your administrative responsibilities organized. Use Google Workspace. It's something like $20 a month or something like that, maybe 30, and you can incorporate a business email. But the Workspace will allow you to download like your Google Sheets, your Google Notes, your Google Docs. You can have all of that in your phone, and your Google Drive. You can organize all of your invoices, all of your business documents right there in hand. So if you're out and about, a lot of people have run contracts like this. They go to a city event, or they go to a networking event,
And I want more information about your business. Boom, right here on my phone. Let me just text it to you right here. All right, or let me just email you right here. So that's my last little gems for the evening. I think I'm going to excuse myself, guys.
I love
I
it. I'm
have
glad you're
enjoyed
up here.
myself,
Yeah.
and yeah, I love this community and what you guys all stand for and helping those that are getting into the space. I hope more people will actually do their due diligence and not just watch us and listen, but actually take what we're saying. Yeah, and apply it. Apply it. Don't wait until DOT pull you over and you're saying, "Dang, I wish I would have went ahead and did this."
Right.
So, but that is it.
Yeah. Hey, Mark. I know. So I know you had a ton of like direct opportunities, and that's what I love when I learned from you. When you invoice, do you know like what platforms you use for invoicing, or you just did you use multiple? Like, how'd you go about invoicing?
My moving company, just a credit card.
Credit card?
So yeah, we use Stripe for the most part.
Stripe? Okay.
Then the Final Mile company, they paid us directly, unless we had to go through like SCI or
Oh yeah, SCI. Yeah.
SCI or Open Force. And then when the freight started coming to my warehouse, Nonstop paid me directly, but that was a pay. You get paid when they get paid. So like they were like 8 months in arrearage for a lot of those orders. So whenever their account receivable got paid for certain deliveries, that's when we got paid. That could go almost a year sometimes. So
wow, that's crazy. Almost a year.
When I stopped inbound and freight, I still got a settlement every week for 8 months.
Yeah.
So when we called it, like as far as the inbound freight coming into my facility, when we just said, all right, we're done with it, I still got paid every single week for 8 months. That's how much they owe me.
Golly.
Somebody snoring, ain't they?
Huh?
I hear somebody snoring on here. That's what somebody just posted.
I think it was I heard the dog. I think it was UTL's dog or something, I want to say, because, yeah.
No, you still hear it.
Yeah, I still hear it.
Oh,
UTL's
I guess I'm
gone.
wrong. Okay, never mind. Oh, well.
Ain't me.
Yeah.
You had Red Bull and black coffee, like you said, so definitely not you.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah. Hey, I'm
wrap
good
up.
to go.
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah. Oh, were you gonna say something? Who's about to say something?
I was going to say, yeah, there's a lot of great information flow. But guys, gals, hey, you got to take notes, and like someone said here, don't take the word, research it yourself. All right. If it doesn't make sense to you, read, educate yourself, ask more questions. So we just don't want you guys to make the mistakes that we made. So knowledge is only power when it's shared. So reach out to us.
Yeah, absolutely. Guys, you want to I was gonna say, since Greg kind of made one closing statement, who else wants to make a closing statement to that?
I just one last thing. I want to thank you guys for allowing me up on this panel. Just the advice and information that I got today is very informative. I just find it amazing how people, how would you say, and I hate to be so, how would you say, constructive criticism, but it's just mind-boggling to see how people are just not mindful or be educated about the business that they're passionate in. I've seen a lot of people, run from constructive criticism. It's you got to get out of that 9 to 5 mentality. This is not a 9 to 5 job. Like Pinnacle said, Grace said you get phone calls at 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. I've gotten them. when you want to sit there and drool on your pillow and everything like that, sometimes you can't do that. You know, this is your business. Take pride into it. You know, accept constructive criticism. That's key in growth. Period. In anything you do, you know, constructive criticism will get you far and beyond of what you need to do. So that's it. I appreciate it. Thank you guys for allowing me on here. Mark, definitely big ups. I appreciate you. I watch you a lot and take a lot of information from you. Cargo, thank you. And BCM, I appreciate you too, my guy.
Absolutely.
Pinnacle too.
All right. Appreciate it.
Yeah. BC, do you have a closing statement to make to everybody?
And I'm just grateful to everyone that came on tonight, and you know, it was very informative. And just like everyone said, you got to have tough skin and be open for corrective, you know, criticism. And I'm just thankful for each and every one of you all, because I'm able to learn as well. So, you know, I've been in business 7 years, and it's never too late to, you know, learn anything. So just stay open-minded and optimistic and continue to push forward.
Got you. Mark, Pinnacle, you guys have a closing statement to make?
I just appreciate you having me on. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, the moment that you operate like a business instead of just like a truck or a cargo van, then that's when the gap starts closing.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree. Guys, I just want to say thank you for getting us to 23,000 likes. Absolutely. I've seen a bunch of people just follow the page. Unfortunately, I'm sorry we couldn't get everybody up here in the panel. But also, this was absolutely an overwhelming amount of information. And I mean, you know, me personally, I love that. I love a lot of information. Hopefully everybody has that same common desire of information that they can apply to their own businesses. We maintained, I think the highest we got to is 45 viewers. Absolutely love it. We're trying to grow this community, like I said, as much as we can. Because I mean, I kind of like you said, Mark. I mean, I just saw a need. I mean, nobody really has a cargo van podcast like that, and that's one of the reasons why almost a year ago I started this, because nobody talks about this enough, in my opinion. But with that being said, guys, thank you for coming up on open mic night. Next week, remember, guys, we are taking off next week, and we're going to start back up in May. And you're going to love the special guests that we're going to have on in May. Some of you guys may know who that is. Some, may not, but you're about to find out. Don't want to spoil it. And we have a lot pretty much in store for May. But with that being said, appreciate everybody tuning in to CargoCast Podcast. Hopefully everybody has a great, blessed weekend. And that's all I got to say. Signing out here.
Those memo.
All right. Take care.
You said, Mark, what were you going to say?
No, I was about to say transport.
I said good night.
Oh, my bad.
What did Mark say?
He said, have a good night.
To get out.
Oh, yeah, you have a good night too, man. The transport.
All right, guys. Have a good one. Have a good weekend.
I got you.
All
yep.
right.
All right.